Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, that should get you significantly
战
pumped
况永
up
远
for
紧张
this
刺激，
series.
烟硝弥漫的洋基红袜世仇大对决，在2008年的球季，今天将要展开第一场的正面交锋。来到的是在波士顿芬威球场，所要进行的是呢洋基跟红袜3连战的第一场比赛。而这场球也是由台湾之光王建民要来担任洋基队的先发投手，带领洋基大军要来对抗 去年的世界大赛冠军红袜队。
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton.
看今天的3位转播的人员呢 ，Michael K 以及右边的 David Cone。我们的 David Cone 从前一个系列战跟皇家队的比赛就加入了转播的阵容。那另外 Ken Singleton 呢，依旧是担任这场比赛解说跟讲评的工作。
对，那今天呢，在两支球队今年球季的首度交锋，其实在最近两队的状况来讲，都并不是特别的理想。以两队的实力来看的话，当然5成刚好的一个胜率之外，其实两队在赛前 都出现蛮多有伤兵的情况，
但是伤兵真的不能拿来当做借口，因为伤兵每个队都有。像是这场比赛之前，那红袜队是伤了明星的3垒手，也是去年世界大赛的 MVP 最有价值的选手，这个 Low 哦。但是 Low 这名选手他有很好的一个顶替的人选，就是 Euclid 原本就是3垒手，他是因为 Low 的加入，他被挤到1垒去，现在又回到他原来的3垒位置，而且有一个生涯3成打击率的 Sean Casey 来接替守1垒。 所以对红袜队来说没有太大的损失。
好，那看看两队今天的先发投手的一个对决，王建民2胜0败，1.38的投手自责分率，要碰上的是2年级生 Clay Buchholz， 他在前一场的先发是吞下了败仗。当然，在昨天 A-Rod 是轰出了全垒打，洋基的打击火力是有复苏的一个情况。这场比赛能否持续，大家可以持续来关注民视带来的现场直播。休息片刻，再回到这场比赛。 并没有持续的来下来哦，所以比赛目前还是预定将会在7点05分的时候正式的来开打。 我们看到了红袜队的球员现在已经是跑进了场内，这场比赛将要正式的展开。
刚刚我们提到红袜队有伤兵，那洋基队当然也有伤兵。今天这场比赛先发的阵容当中，我们看不到 Derek Jeter， 还是由 Gonzalez 来担任先发的游击手。那另外 Jorge Posada 依旧没有办法担任先发的捕手，而是以先发 DH 的身份来上场。先发捕手还是给了 Molina， 所以今天是由 Molina 来跟王建民来做搭配。
看到今天的天气报告，46度的这个华氏，大概是9度左右的这个摄氏，也是蛮冷的一个天气，因为波士顿的纬度还是蛮高的，在这个时候呢，天气是相当的冷，而且湿度蛮高的，超过了70%。那这场比赛洋基队先发打线呢，跟昨天的比赛又有一些改变了。第一棒排出来的是 Melky Cabrera， 第2棒是 Robinson Cano， 3棒是昨天并没有上场的 Bobby Abreu， 4棒是 Alex Rodriguez， 昨天他轰出了一发的全垒打。那另外呢，第5棒松井秀喜今天要担任守备，是左外野。另外指定打击排出来的是 Jorge Posada， 第7棒是 Jason Giambi， 8棒是捕手 Jose Molina， 9棒则是先发的游击手 Alberto Gonzalez。那今天的红袜队排出来的先发投手是今年球季先发过1场，吞下了败投的。
Pitcher scouting report on young Mr. Buchholz, and it goes as this. Twice as nice. Twice he was voted the Red Sox minor league pitcher of the year, 2 years in a row. And on the strength of 285 2/3 innings and 356 strikeouts. And his strikeout pitch, well, one of them is that nose-to-toes curveball. He's got an excellent hook.
Well, we're almost ready for baseball here at Fenway Park. A lot of people wearing rain gear, as they're expecting a lot of rain, as we mentioned. You can see it's falling steadily here at Fenway. Melky Cabrera getting ready. Clay Buchholz is ready. You're ready, so let's do it. here in Boston. First game of a 3-game set, first of 18 between these two teams this season. That's in the regular season. And Buchholz deals, and it's fouled away, and we are underway, count 0-1. Hey, get the best in HD free with IO TV, because everything about HD is better with IO, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball. Last time Buchholz was on the Fenway mound, September 1st, and he pitched that no-hitter against the Orioles. Pitches upstairs.
And Michael, the last pitch he threw in that game was to Nick Markakis, and it was that nose-to-toes curveball that froze him for call strike 3, and he made history.
21st Major League rookie to pitch a no-hitter. Pretty impressive stuff. And the 17th Red Sox to pitch a no-hitter. First rookie Red Sox. Off-speed pitch, and Cabrera way out front, 1-2. With Posada as the DH tonight, you'll see Cabrera kind of jump at the motion. Cabrera is leading off, and Johnny Damon gets a seat on the bench because Posada will DH, and Matsui gets started left. The 1-2.
Well, Melky kind of jump-started the Yankee offense last night with that home run, his second of the season. And then he also had a base hit in the game. He drove in a couple of runs as the Yankees were able to salvage the final game of that series against Kansas City 6-1.
The 2-2 from Buchholz. Foul back.
Yeah, you're right, Kenny. He's the one who gave that team life in Kansas City. We saw them come in really flat, not really much going on offensively, and the bench was really flat too. And you know, the human element, certainly the travel, the late arrivals, another one last night, but
the stinky weather.
The stinky weather, yeah. You know, you can make up all sorts of excuses for being flat, but nonetheless, Melky's the one that got that life going with that home run right there. And just the way he ran around the bases, the high five, the bench came alive on that.
The 2-2. Just missed inside. Home plate umpire is Brian O'Nora. And the count goes full at 3-2. That's what he did against the Royals, 4 for 11. And here's how close that pitch was.
Yeah, just inside for a ball. It's almost as if Johnny Damon's up there, because he would usually run you to 3-2 as the first hitter in the ball game.
Cabrera, .393 on base percentage. Early in the season, 8 hits and 25 at-bats. And he hits the ground ball short. Lugo. And there is one away. We talked about Buchholz on September 1st making history. And really, you really set the bar high when you throw a no-hitter as a rookie.
Yeah, the unusual thing about this, Michael, though, is he picks up the last few outs in this ball game. He was getting near his pitch count. And Terry Francona, the manager, was going to take him out of the game and throwing a no-hitter. And here's that last pitch. Here's that curveball to Markakis. Call strike 3. That's Joe West with the call. And Buchholz has made history.
Kind of get the sense you wonder if he understood what he did.
Well, that's all downhill from here.
That was his second big league start. Here's Robinson Cano. The Yankees looking for Cano to get off the schneid, so to speak. 7 for 39 after having a tremendous over 400 spring training where he had 19 ribbies in 20 games.
It goes to show you, Michael, both he and Giambi hit over 400, and they've been two of the coldest hitters on the Yankees. Both of them hitting over 400 in spring training. But I was talking to Robinson before the game, and I can sense it. You know, sometimes you watch hitters, and he agrees with me. He says he's not that far away from breaking out. He just needs those multi-hit games to get himself going. He's sticking a hit here, sticking a hit there. His average stands at 179. I don't think he's going to be there much longer.
And the 1-1. Hey, you can listen to Yankees baseball in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. David Cohn actually does his own SAP, which is really unbelievable. I didn't know you were that fluent, Dave.
Well, you know, you're in the game long enough. You know, in all the cities I played in.
Here's the 2-1. Popped up behind the plate. Varitek gives it a look, but that'll be out of play. You know, we talked about Buchholz pitching a no-hitter in the second game, and you wonder if he knew what was going on. Would you have appreciated your perfect game if it had come really early in your career?
No, definitely not. That's one of the things I said back then, that I really could understand what was going on. It was Yogi Berra Day, and certainly, you know, the older you get, the more you realize that this chance might not come around again. And Clay Buchholz probably thinks he might throw another one, you know, for all we know. And second, you know, his first big league start or second big league start or whatever it was, you get the sense that he didn't really know.
Well, that probably sealed his spot in the rotation this year. And although he was shut down because of an innings limit, here he is in the starting five, and he strikes out Cano looking as Cano's struggles continue now. 7 hits in 40 at-bats this season.
Well, you can really see here, this is his bread and butter pitch, the nose to toes that Kenny's talking about. And he's almost Mike Mussina-like, straight over the top. And this ball's definitely coming down hard. You know, borderline high strike, but when you get that kind of big break on your ball, and Veritek kind of helps it down in the strike zone a little bit, he's going to get the call.
So Cano's struggles continue. Yankees offensively have really struggled, which makes their 5-5 record all the more remarkable. Here's Bobby Abreu, one of the few Yankees not struggling. 11 hits and 33 at-bats, and he takes a strike from Buchholz.
Yeah, there were those who wondered why Joe Girardi took him out of the lineup last night. The Yankees actually went on and won the ball game, and they got 12 hits, 3 home runs, and Abreu had a nice little rest.
And what Joe kept emphasizing to everyone, I'm not changing this lineup because we're slumping. I'm changing it because we're playing a left-hander, and I want to get some of my righties in. It's a right time to rest some of the lefties. So it wasn't a punishment. It wasn't a shake-up thing. It was just what he was going to do against a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, he got Morgan Ensberg in there, and Ensberg ended up getting 2 hits and scoring a run.
1-1. Count 2-1.
You know, we talked about umpires in the last series, Kenny, in Kansas City. Brian O'Nora, I remember him as sort of a pitcher's umpire. We saw him ring up the high curveball in the previous at-bat. He's going to be the kind of guy that's going to be more of a pitcher's umpire. As you see there, Brian O'Nora behind home plate. He was a guy I like to see behind home plate.
In other words, you feel like going out there now.
The 2-1.
Not quite. Well, not that good.
All right.
I'm enjoying it up here with you guys.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Did you do scouting like a couple of games in advance? All right, what umpire am I going to get? And was that significant, the way you put your game plan together?
Absolutely. More and more significant over the recent years when people were trying to define the strike zone. We had the Crestron system. It was kind of a laser system, a Cyclops system that tried to identify the strike zone.
3-1. Driven deep to center field, going back crisp, still back, track, and he makes the play right in front of the wall for the final out of the first inning. So Abreu gave it a ride, but Coco Crisp got a good jump and ran it down in front of the 379-foot sign in left center. Yankees 3 up, 3 down. Yankees nothing, and the Red Sox coming back. It's very odd for the Red Sox to be sleeping in their own bed. Why? Because they have had unbelievable travels. They started spring training in Fort Myers, then they headed to Tokyo to play the opening series of the year against the A's. Then they go to LA to play the Dodgers. Then they open a season against the A's. Then they go to another country, Toronto, to beat the Blue Jays. And then finally back to Boston. 15,820 miles, 3 countries, 4 cities in 18 days. Hope they had their frequent flyer months. Terry Francona said, hey, we were tired, but I will never use that as an excuse. Other people also have tough travels. Let's take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup put together by Francona, and it is presented by Rico. Coco Crisp is going to lead off. He's going to play center field. Dustin Pedroia, the second baseman, will bat second. David Ortiz, strangely enough, slumping. He'll be the DH. He'll hit third. Cleaning up and playing left field, Manny Ramirez. Look at the numbers against Chin-Ming Wang. Kevin Youkilis shifts over to third with the injury to Mike Lowell. J.D. Drews in right field hitting 6th. Batting 7th on his birthday, he's 36. The catcher, Jason Varitek. Sean Casey at first base will bat 8th. And batting 9th and playing shortstop, Julio Lugo.
Well, Chin-Ming Wang's off to a great start this season. 2-0, a sparkling ERA. 8 strikeouts, 4 walks. He hasn't given up a home run. He usually keeps the ball in the ballpark. Here's our Jeep pitcher scouting report, 50-50. He's 5-5. In his career against the Boston Red Sox. I know it's early, but right-handed hitters are hitting just 154. And he's got a little splitter that he's putting into the mix right now. He's using it every once in a while. It was pretty effective in his first 2 starts.
And the pitch to Coco Crisp is low 1-0.
Yeah, more importantly, in his last start, it was the best mix of pitchers I've seen him over the last couple of years. He mixed in good sliders. He became more unpredictable, put some more mystery into it as opposed to just relying on that fantastic heavy sinker that he features.
Crisp 7 hits and 23 at-bats, and they don't exactly have a platoon going on in center field, but there are two guys who are used to being regulars, and one of them sits down a lot. And it's Crisp and Jacoby Ellsbury. So Crisp flies out to Matsui for the first out of the first.
Yeah, Ellsbury has been a little cool lately, but Crisp is doing the job. Both of them are good defensive center fielders. So Terry Francona has maybe can check the numbers before the game, before making out the lineup, and go accordingly. Here's Ellsbury.
I'll tell you what, though, I spoke to Terry, and he said the thing that might be frustrating the two of them is there's no rhyme or reason. He said, I'm going by gut, I'm going by numbers, I'm going by feel, and I told them by June everything will work itself out. Maybe they trade Coco Crisp, who has obviously been on the trade front. A lot of rumors about him. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Swings at the first pitch and hits a high fly ball to left field. Matsui almost overran it, and he puts it away for the second out.
Yeah, we talked about this in Kansas City, David. The fact that when there's a fly ball, there's rain coming down, it makes it even more difficult for outfielders and infielders to make the play, because the raindrops themselves are illuminated by the lights in the stadium. And you really have to concentrate on the ball coming down, because it's coming down at a different rate than the rain is. And I've been in this situation. It's no fun playing in the rain. We heard A-Rod say that the other day too. You see Matsui kind of staying with it. He should call for a fair catch.
There's David Ortiz, and Ortiz in one of the worst slumps of his career. Started the season 3 for 36. There's a strike. He's 0 for his last 10, and he's 1 for his last 22. And the word is he's just not identifying the strike zone. He's expanding his zone. He's constantly behind in the count, guessing too much, and moving his feet a lot. Pitch inside, 1-1.
Yeah, they talked about him. The local media talked about him sort of going silent. After last night's game, dressing quickly. Not so much in the mean spirit, but just saying that not tonight, guys. I got to get out of here. I got to get my head right. And it's really starting to get to him.
And they won the game, didn't they, last night?
Mm-hmm. Beat the Tigers. Took 2 out of 3 from Detroit. He's got great numbers against Chien-Ming Wang, so that has to make him feel good coming into this one. 15 for 30, 2 homers and 10 runs batted in. Not fair to just highlight Wang, because Ortiz and Ramirez have great numbers against all Yankee pitching. Yankees have been unable to shut those two down over the years. And the 2-1. 2-2.
Sometimes what happens, and even the good hitters go through this, and the great hitters as well, you get in situations where you get ahead on the count, you're looking for a pitch. Here's an example right there. 2-1 pitch, fairly good pitch to hit. If he had tried to drive it to left center, he might have gotten to it. But instead, maybe he's thinking about pulling the ball, and he fouls it off. He can't really drive through the ball. You got to swing through the baseball, just as they tell pitchers to throw through home plate, throw through the target, through the catcher if you can.
And the 2-2. Strike 3. Ortiz down looking. His struggles continue, and he cannot believe the call. 3 for 37, 0 for 11, 1 for 23. Red Sox down in order. Let's go to the second. No score. Splinter. He hit 521 home runs. Alex Rodriguez is leading off. He has 520. Tied with Williams is McCovey at 521. So they're next up for A-Rod. And then Jimmy Fox, old Double X, is 14th on the all-time list at 534. So let's see if A-Rod has a flair for the dramatic and ties the great Ted Williams right here at Fenway. And also Willie McCovey, who can't leave him out. A-Rod had a home run in the 9th inning yesterday off Hideo Nomo. Pad the Yankee lead.
Well, you think about Ted Williams, you saw his statue outside. In San Francisco, they have McCovey Cove. He's got a whole stretch of water named after him, along with a statue. Maybe one day A-Rod will be immortalized.
There's a strike. Count 0-1. A-Rod 11 for 37 on the young season with 2 home runs. Still not swinging the bat the way he wants. His swing's a little bit long. He's much better when he's short to the ball. But when teams slump, everybody tries to do a little too much.
He was short to the ball last night. He got number 520. He got out of Kansas City's Kauffman Stadium in a hurry. Touched up Hideo Nomo.
Yeah, you know, classic A-Rod home run. He hits those balls that go so high and they just keep going.
And the 0-2 fouled that one back.
Yeah, here's A-Rod last night. You can see he got the barrel to the bat, and that ball was a moonshot and just kept traveling. There's a little bit of a jet stream in Kansas City last night. I don't think that was too much wind aided, though.
Well, it might be coming this way. It looked like it was headed east.
It's following us. We saw that.
We know the rain is.
And the 0-2 inside, 1-2. A-Rod, Matsui, and Posada here in the second. Both teams went down in order in the first. First of 3 tomorrow afternoon, then Sunday night. And the Yankees go to Tampa Bay for 2 against the Rays. Yankees are in the middle of a stretch now where they play 18 of 20 games on the road. Off-speed pitch, and A-Rod waited, but a nice play there by Sean Casey. And he flips to Buchholz to take an extra base hit away from Rodriguez. That's a good play by Casey.
Well, you can really see the effectiveness of Buchholz's big curveball. You see A-Rod kind of collapse there a little bit, little jelly leg, kind of an emergency swing. He's got such strong hands, he almost gets a by down the line for a double, but no can go. And that tells you the effectiveness of Buchholz's curveball. He can get you to give up on it, and, you know, sort of get you to flinch a little bit. And A-Rod had to readjust and try to get a little emergency hack going there.
Sean Casey replacing Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis has moved to third. And Youkilis won the Gold Glove last year. 1,080 chances without an error for Youkilis. And winning the Gold Glove, only the second Red Sox in history to win the Gold Glove at first base. The other one, you want to take a guess, Kenny?
It wasn't Dick Stewart. It was George Scott.
It was George Scott in 1971.
They used to call Dick Stewart Dr. Strangeglove.
Here's Matsui. The reason Youkilis has moved to third, if he joined us late, Mike Lowell hurt himself on Wednesday diving for a ground ball off the bat of the Tigers' Ivan Rodriguez. His glove kind of got caught up underneath him, hurt his thumb. He was put on the 15-day DL, and they called up the rookie Jed Lowry, who was a highly thought-of shortstop, although they moved him to third in his last couple of games in the minor leagues in case they have to move him there. There's Mike Lowell. Signed a 3-year contract during the offseason to stay with the Red Sox. And he was the World Series MVP. In fact, Lowell could have gone to a couple of other teams and gotten 4 years, but he actually took less money and less years to sign here with the Red Sox.
Well, he was a man who's quite important to the team last year. In fact, he led the Red Sox in runs batted in. You have a team with Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz on it. That's certainly a feat.
And it's funny the way time changes perception, because Lowell came here simply because they had to take him in order to get Josh Beckett, because the Marlins wanted to get rid of the $18 million left on Lowell's contract. And at that time, the Red Sox say, okay, we'll keep him at third base for 2 years, pay him the $9 million a year, and then he's gone. But then all of a sudden, they re-signed him because he'd been so valuable to them defensively, and the clubhouse, a good guy. Actually out of the Yankee farm system.
Yeah, a little bit of speculation before Alex Rodriguez came back to the Yankees after opting out that Mike Lowell might end up back in the Bronx, and certainly he's got some ties to the Yankee organization, and they're a great guy in the clubhouse and a good fastball hitter, much like the rest of these Red Sox hitters.
And in 05, he won a Gold Glove at third base. And even after they signed A-Rod, there were some whispers that the Yankees would still go after him and have him play first base. But he decided to stay here. Count full now on Matsui. Matsui so far this year, 11 for 35, 2 homers and 6 runs batted in. And the full count delivery. Line drive, right center, it is a base hit. Coco Crisp gets the ball in quickly, throws a 4-hopper to Pedroia. Does not have a great arm, and also the wet ground didn't help him. So Matsui picks up the first hit of the game.
If there's been a Yankee hitter who's been kind of locked in since the season began, I think it's been Matsui. I mean, he's now hitting 9 of the 10 games that he's played in. And that was a pretty good pitch. It was down, but he went down and got it and lined it into center field for a base hit.
Yeah, Kenny, that's one of the problems with a pitcher on a 3-2 count. And Veritek calls for a fastball in. There's not much margin for error. And you don't want to miss inside. You got to make sure it's in the strike zone. And your tendency is to miss back out over the plate a little bit. And Matsui was all over it.
You get a solid line drive. You can see how the bat actually covers the ball up. You can see you almost can't see any part of the ball when the bat hits it. That's a solid line drive.
Also, what a reaction by Buchholz. That was a high line drive to right center, and he ducked out of the way as if he was going to get hit in the head. We saw that yesterday, a great play by Andy Pettit off the bat. And that one was right at his head, but Buchholz reacted as if the ball came close to his ear. Count 1-0, Posada. Posada about, I guess, 4 o'clock, throwing in the outfield and left field here at Fenway. Throwing to Tony Pinion, made about 20 throws. Watchful gaze of Joe Girardi right there. And then they all spoke, and they decided, let's not push it. Still not feeling right.
Yeah, Jorge's been working with Gene Monahan, the Yankee head athletic trainer, to strengthen. He's doing exercises to strengthen that shoulder. And I guess part of the program is to get out there and throw a little bit. Of course, you don't want to overtax yourself. You just don't want to strain or restrain anything. You just want to build up your arm to the point where Joe Girardi and Jorge feel comfortable that you can throw people out.
Yeah, you know, Kenny, I snuck into the clubhouse before the media was allowed to early today, and I tell you what, both Posada and Jeter were trying to get ready for this game tonight. They both were in the trainer's room. They both tested it in the outfield, and it was really a late minute decision.
Count 2-1. Well, Jeter, it's significant. He's not playing. First time he has not played in a game here at Fenway since September 26th of '96. 94 straight regular season games against the Red Sox. Although strangely, he's a .290 hitter against the Red Sox lifetime. .336 at the stadium and .252 here at Fenway.
You know, sometimes right-handed hitters can get caught up in trying to pull the ball here at Fenway Park. And thinking that the left field wall, you can almost feel it as you're standing up there as a right-handed hitter. You look out of the corner of your eye, and it looks very close. And I can understand where Derek's average might be lower here, but he hit 6 home runs against the Red Sox last year, and I think 4 of them were here.
Here's a 2-1. Grounded softly to Sean Casey. He makes the out, tags out Posada, and moving to second is Matsui. Tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealers. You know, the .250 average that Derek has here at Fenway, that's the lowest he has in any ballpark. 15 ballparks in which he has 100 or more at-bats.
I saw Lugo talking to Matsui at second base there. I wonder if he's giving him any advice on new restaurants in Japan.
You wonder what language they're using. Yeah. I saw a quote where Terry Francona didn't know which one. Sometimes you try Spanish to the Japanese guys, and you try English, and definitely language barriers come into play nowadays.
I went to this place just off the Ginza district.
There's Giambi, 1 for 18. Francona was telling a story that he took Hideki Okajima out of the game yesterday. The Red Sox had a big lead, and Okajima pitched the 7th, and he had him warm up in the 8th. But didn't have him pitch to a batter in the 8th because he wanted to give Julian Tavares time to warm up. So he came out and got Okajima, was trying to explain it to him. And Okajima just stared blankly at him. And then Kevin Cash, the backup catcher, said to Francona, he doesn't understand you. What are you doing? So he just took him out of the game. And then they explained to him later that...
Interpreter explained,
right.
Yeah, that's part of it. Remember when Joe Torre tried to take El Duque out of his first start? El Duque, there's no relief pitchers in Cuba. When you start the game, you finish the game. You didn't know what Joe was doing out there.
Pitch inside and hits the corner. Giambi doesn't like that call. Count 1 and 2. David, you might have been right about Honora.
Well, undoubtedly, you see both catchers working both sides of the dish. They're moving in and out a lot, and they're going to continue to stretch it. If he gets those calls, they're going to try to test him and find out exactly where the limits are. But he hasn't been out of the ordinary. He's a good strike calling umpire. He's not afraid to call strikes. And some umpires are afraid to make mistakes and not call strikes, and some umpires aren't afraid, and they'd rather make a mistake by calling too many strikes.
1-2. Check swing.
You know what might be an issue here? I mean, rain's falling. The forecast is for more rain. They want to move the game along. So that's why in a game like this, played on nights like this, scoring first is really important.
I hear what you're saying, Kenny, but you shouldn't compromise the integrity of the game with the strike zone and speed it along.
You shouldn't do it, but it does happen.
Two-two. Line into right center field. That could be trouble. On the run is Crispy, makes the play. Giambi hit the ball hard, but it's been that sort of a start for Giambi. He's now 1 for 19. Good jump by Crisp as he hauled it in. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the second inning. There was no score at Fenway. Pitcher in Major League history to reach the 200-win plateau. Yankees beat Chicago by a final of 5-4 that day, and Moose went 6 in the third inning, striking out 6 White Sox along the way. That was 4 years ago today. Your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. 251 wins now for Mike Messina, and he is tied with Bob Gibson, and Jamie Moore is 20 wins below, but those are the active career leaders. Randy Johnson next, and Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux. I would think that the way you pitched, that you have to look at Maddux with a lot of respect, because he doesn't throw very hard, but boy, just keeps winning and keeps pitching.
He's definitely the master of his craft. He's got a PhD, you know. He just shows you that sometimes less is more, and Jamie Moore is on that list as well. And these guys have developed their craft so well. They know what they're doing. They know the changing speeds, and sometimes throwing below hitting speed or throwing a little slower every now and then is more important.
There's Manny Ramirez. Drilled to left field. Fair ball, it's gone, it's foul. And that took a very odd bounce from the upper deck out there on left, and it caroms out into the monster seats in left field.
Hit that guy's hand. You see him shaking it. See, if this is Carlton Fisk, it would have stayed fair.
Bring your glove to the ballpark or duck. Oh, we got a cold beer. Maybe put a cold beer there. We can ice it.
Pitch inside, 1-1.
You know, Michael, I came in the cab today with Melky Cabrera. Took a cab to the ballpark, and Wilson Betterment. I acted just like a player, Kenny. I didn't know what to do. It was 2 o'clock. The security guards let me right in. I went right in the clubhouse.
They remember you, David.
And I realized I didn't have a press pass. So Charlie, the old clubhouse guy that guards the door, took me on a tour around Fenway Park. Went up in the monster seats for the first time. And haven't been here for about 6 or 7 years, and quite a few changes. Whole different ballpark now.
Where's the Coke bottle?
It's now Coke sign. Now I have the key question though, David. You said you acted like a player. Who paid for the cab?
I did.
Then you didn't act like a player.
I paid for it. I still got more time than Melky.
See, but you know, he keeps the receipts now.
That's right. John Filippelli doesn't know this shit.
That's about a $70 cab ride, right, from the hotel?
$70.
Yeah, by the route we took, I'm sure it was.
Looks like Manny's very quick inside tonight. He's very aware of pitches on the inner half, and it shows by the first one that he pulled foul. You know, sometimes Manny's up there, and he's a smart hitter. You don't hit as well as Manny has over the years. He hits well to the opposite field,
and he hits well against the Yankees. 52 home runs against the Yanks. Just got a piece of that. This is the final year of Manny's $160 million 8-year contract, although the Red Sox have an option for another year and an option for a year after that. And each of those option years are worth $20 million. At the time he signed it, it was unbelievable. Oh, how could they give him that? Now it's kind of a bargain in today's market, the way he plays, the numbers he puts up.
No, yeah, his attitude's changed a little bit. He's been showing up on time, getting in shape, different attitude. Quite a contrast to a few years ago when he was put on waivers, Michael, and nobody bit.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, you
could have had it for free. Well, other than the salary.
Yeah, well, other than the salary, that was the kicking point right there. They kicked him back to the Red Sox.
He is enigmatic because he's a Hall of Famer. There's no arguing that, but You know, they have a saying here in Boston, and people in New York have heard it. It's Manny being Manny. You know, he cuts balls off from left field that he shouldn't be touching. He sits and admires home runs and doesn't run that hard, and he's just a different bird. But this is potentially a free agent year, and he did come to camp on time, and he's in great shape. And he's won 2 World Series rings with the Red Sox, so their investment has certainly paid off. The 2-2, swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Chien-Ming Wang, who's been haunted by Ortiz and Ramirez throughout his career, strikes them both out.
That was your basic challenging fastball. Just here, see if you can hit this one.
He's got some late life. You see Molina setting up outside, and of course coming inside there. And Molina is such a good catcher. They're pounding him in. They give you a preview right there of how they're going to pitch Manny. In, get him conscious in, then let's go away a couple times. Little cut fastball, little slider, kind of hung it and got away with it there, and just a power fastball away. So you can kind of see in and out.
And the pitch to Kevin Youkilis is a strike.
I don't know if this is designed by pitching coach Dave Island, but I think the Yankee pitchers are pitching more inside, at least the first time around the order, to make the hitters think that you got to be quick. And then for the rest of the game, you might get a free strike over the outside corner like that. When the first pitch was in, next one over the outside corner. And quickly, I mean, he's got Youkilis 0-2, and here's where the hitter is completely on the defensive. The pitcher can go anywhere he wants. Will you chase a pitch out of the strike zone? Will he throw me another strike? You know, back in the day when I was playing, it was almost automatic. You can get one near the chin on 0-2. But it was like a compliment.
And the 0-2. Fly ball right field. Giving chase is Abreu. And there are 2 outs.
You know, Kenny, that's kind of an interesting point. You know, obviously watching you come through Kansas City when I was growing up there, and you used to hurt the Royals. And
I was trying.
You know, it was a different style of philosophy. It seemed like there was more bail and whale hitters. Lee May, Dick Allen. If you left stuff on the inner half, they were going to bail and launch it. And the outside corner was the pitcher's corner. That's what Nolan Ryan's theory was. You hit a home run on the inside corner on me, fine. But if you reach out over the plate and you hit the ball hard on the outside corner, that's when you're going to get the bow tie. And the game's really kind of reversed in that regard.
Here's J.D. Drew off to a great start, 11 hits and 25 at-bats, and rounds that one foul.
Well, I sort of call it, you know, define the era, you know, the eras of the 70s and 80s is the bail and whale style of hitting, and now we've got the dive and hook style of hitting where we're, you know, it's sort of a function of the strike zone as well, but hitters are more willing to dive. They're more comfortable in the box. Pitching inside has become much more difficult for pitchers. They don't learn how to do it in the minor leagues as well, and certainly has affected the nature of the game and how you pitch.
You know what I think it goes to, Dave? I think it has to do a lot with aluminum bats.
Rounded to first. Giambi with a nice play, and he just beats J.D. Drew to the bag, and Chien-Ming Wang is perfect. 2-2, 6 up, 6 down. We have played 2 here at Fenway Park in Boston, Mass. It's the Yankees nothing and the Red Sox nothing. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. Nice moment on opening day here at Fenway Park. Coming out of the Green Monster, Billy Buckner vilified for his part in the collapse in Game 6 of the Red Sox against the Mets in '86. He threw out the first pitch, got a thunderous ovation, brought tears to his eyes, and he was, let's be honest, unfairly maligned for that loss. The game was already tied. He shouldn't have been out there. Dave Stapleton should have been, and the ball that Mookie Wilson hit trickled through his legs, winning run scored. But once the game was tied, you could have blamed Bob Stanley, Rich Gedman, Calvin Schiraldi. But for some reason, around the country, Bill Buckner, a borderline Hall of Famer, took most of the blame. So certainly was welcomed back to Fenway Park with open arms. A nice moment.
It's good to see. That was Dwight Evans, his former teammate, who caught the ceremonial opening day pitch.
Now 1-0 on Jose Molina, who's done a nice job filling in behind the plate for Jorge Posada. Now, you guys talked about how things are different now because of the aluminum bat. Tell me why.
Well, I think youngsters grow up using aluminum bats, and pitchers grow up pitching to aluminum bats. And I think they pitch to avoid contact now, as opposed to making good pitches and have the hitters hitting the ball on the bad part of the bat. With aluminum bats, you can get hits, and solid hits, and not hit the ball square. So I think pitchers nowadays, pitching to aluminum bats, have lost that ability to make the good pitches.
there really is no bad part of the bat in an aluminum bat.
It's harder to get inside.
Yeah.
You know, they're so much quicker. They're lighter, and they're easier to turn over on that inside pitch. The pitchers know that, and especially in college and on the high school level. And it's interesting. There's kind of a push to get wood bats back into the amateur level, and it's debatable. I think Mike Mussina's taken the alternate position where, you know, in his little league experience, that he actually thinks from a budgetary reason, aluminum bats serve their purpose.
I think that's why they have them to begin with. They don't break.
But you know what? It's dangerous as well, because the ball comes off an aluminum bat like it's shot out of a cannon, and there's a danger issue as well. So you've got to weigh budgetary against danger, and also it's very hard to scout high school and college players, because you've got to say, well, what would that batting average be? What would their power be with a wood bat? It's not that easy.
Baseball, more than any other sport, it's just really hard to talent evaluate, know what you're going to get in the NBA draft, the NFL draft. Obviously, you know, the #1 draft choice. We see the young kids in college playing basketball in the NCAA tournament. You know what you're getting. You get a lottery pick in a freshman in college. You know what the quantity is.
It would almost be, as Alberto Gonzalez goes down on strikes, it would be like trying to scout high school and college basketball players, and they're playing on 8-foot rims. I mean, you're changing the game with an aluminum bat.
Let's see what this pitch is. It puts man, that's a nasty hook.
Yeah, you can
no chance.
You can see where the Red Sox are so high, and you see that right over the top motion, and that's how you get that ball to go straight down. And, you know, Jim Cott talked about that for years. That almost looks Mike Mussina like right there, and you see him kind of fall off the mound. He's not really in a good fielding position, but you're throwing breaking balls like that, Kenny, that's all right. You don't have to field your position like a Gold Glover.
Pitch to Melky Cabrera is low. Cabrera battled the count full in the first inning, leading off the game, and then ended up grounding to short.
Melky had a nice little stretch there in Kansas City, went 4 for 11.
Hey, tomorrow's starting pitcher is brought to you by Verizon Fios. Make the switch to Verizon Fios, TV, internet, and phone. Nice matchup. Mike Mussina, who's pitched well against Josh Beckett. 1 start, started the season on the DL. And our coverage will be after the game. The game will be on Fox. Beckett had a bad back in spring training, so they shut him down. There's a line drive, and it's caught by Julio Rigo for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning here in the third. So it's turned into a pitcher's duel here at Fenway. Clay Buchholz against Chien-Ming Wang. Yankees, Red Sox, no scores. We head to the bottom of the third. The official rental car company of the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the third inning at a jam-packed Fenway Park. The rain has stopped. It looks like there's a little miss, but for the Yankees, that's beautiful weather lately. 6 up, 6 down against Chien-Ming Wang. Bottom third of the order for the Red Sox, starting with Jason Varitek, celebrating his 36th birthday today. Now, while you guys were in Kansas City, I was doing some research work, and I said, let's see, it's Varitek's birthday. Let me see what his numbers are on his birthday. So I went back, I looked up all the box scores. 6 for 24 previously on his birthday.
250, huh? That's not too good.
Sitting on the couch watching you guys yesterday, I was adding up box scores.
You know, I knew that was true when you said it.
Grounded to second, and there's one away. So 7 in a row for Wang.
So studious, Michael.
That's me. Now the Yankees and Kenny and David got it very late. The game ended late last night, and I guess everybody got to bed about 4:30. And it's been that sort of a stretch for the Yankees because there was a Monday night game at the stadium. Then the first game in KC was opening day, so that was an afternoon game. They got in very late or early. And then on Sunday night, there's an ESPN game, and then they'll get into Tampa or St. Pete at about 4:30 in the morning. So it's a tough stretch for them.
Yeah, Michael, I wandered back on the back of the plane in the charter. It's something media guys aren't supposed to do. I haven't figured that out yet. I still, you know, as we said before, I still think I'm a player. I got into a card game with Johnny Damon and Brian Bruni, and 4 o'clock in the morning. That's the way. Yeah, we liked it back then. You know, it was nothing. Everybody was sleeping.
I'm telling you what, if I wandered to the back of the plane, they might crack my kneecap with a ball peen hammer.
You know, I used to sit in the very last row, you know, and kind of survey everything, you know, sort of signature place for whatever, the veteran of the team. And Derek Jeter's now back there. I mean, they left that back row open. The second to last row is now where Derek sits. And, you know, it's different nowadays. Guys are they're watching movies or they're sleeping. And, you know, I was the guy that was walking around messing with everybody. If you tried to sleep on the plane on me, I'm putting the shaving cream in your mouth.
Count 0-2 on Sean Casey. Grounded to second, Cano. Now, do you think they're leaving that back row open just for you, in memory of you?
Well, I don't know about that. It's not a good seat because you can't back up your seat. You can't really, recline backwards. It wasn't that good a seat. I just like to be back there, where I can see everybody and mess with everybody and talk to everybody. It's that camaraderie. And I've talked about this, Kenny, with you yesterday. And we saw A-Rod hit his home run and the guys getting on each other in the dugout. That's the part I miss the most. And some of those late night plane flights, just getting on guys. And, it's easy to get down. It's easy to get flat. You need some flakes and some personalities that shake things up a little bit.
Well, you haven't been out as long as I have. You'll get over it.
Pitch to Lugo's inside, 1-0.
Speaking of, I don't want to start this story with 2 outs because I wouldn't say it's too lengthy, but about getting in late at night. There's something that happened to me in Detroit that was kind of unusual way back when.
2-0.
We'll get into it next thing.
All right. That's a teaser.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of a funny story.
Well, I'm sure with that crew you had. Lee May. I
had nothing to do with Lee May.
Earl Weaver?
No, not him. This is a solo flight.
The 2-0. Grounded foul.
Look, there's a foul ball. Give me a little time here. We pull into Detroit about 3 a.m. and they hand out the keys. You go up to your room. And I open the door and I walk in the room. And there's 2 double beds in the room. And I flick on the lights. And there's 2 little old ladies in the room. And they popped up out of bed like toast coming out of a toaster. And they looked at me. They started yelling and screaming. I said, wait, is there some kind of mistake here? They're throwing pillows at me. And I ran downstairs to get another key. I told them. And I yelled at him as I was going out the door, lock your door. So I go downstairs. Then I go to the guy at the front desk. I said, there's 2 ladies in my room. And the guy said, what's your complaint? And I said, if I was Methuselah, I wouldn't have a complaint. But just give me another room.
The count 3-1.
They scared me more than I scared them, I think.
I don't know. It's probably close. Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez, strong arm across the diamond. And how about that? 3 perfect innings for Chien-Ming Wang, who's pitching very good baseball early in the season. We go to the 4th. There's no score. Yankees and the Red Sox, first of 18. It's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. And it is, off whom did Ted Williams hit his 521st home run? How about this?
Yeah.
I mean, that's grammatically perfect. How perfect is that?
You know what was really perfect?
Doesn't end the sentence with a preposition. It's great.
He ran off the field, touched home plate, ran in the clubhouse, and never came back out. Never acknowledged the fan.
Didn't tip his cap?
Nothing. See ya. Got a double see ya on that one.
Kurt Gowdy was announcing the game for the Red Sox, and only he knew that was it. I guess John Updike wrote a magazine piece about it that's one of the greatest ever written. There's a ground ball by Cano. Pedroia makes the play. Cano now 7 for 41. And he's having the same start to a season as he had last year, along with David Cohn and Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yankee Entertainment and Sports Network. We thank you for spending part of your Friday evening with us. Good game so far. Top of the 4th inning. There is no score. Chien-Ming Wang has faced the minimum 9 Red Sox over the first 3. And Clay Buchholz has given just 1 hit. That one to Hideki Matsui, line drive single to right center in the 2nd. Now the Red Sox could actually thank the Mets for Clay Buchholz, because Clay Buchholz was selected in the compensation round because they received that pick from the Mets because the Mets signed Pedro Martinez. And that's the way the free agent market goes, where you sign a player and then you'll get compensation picks. And the compensation picks are between the 1st and the 2nd round. And if you're a compensation pick, you are considered a 1st-round draft pick.
Now, at first during free agency, there were no compensation picks. You just lost your guy. You know, he was gone.
One.
Yeah, Kenny, the great debate was, why not make everybody free agents every year back then?
That was Charlie Finley.
Yes, he flood the market with free agents. If we're worried about the turnover and the change of the game. And of course, the Yankees owner George Steinbrenner, a prominent player in the changing of the game and the active participation in free agency. And then Marvin Miller got in and sort of negotiated their arbitration system and retained control for some of the clubs over players.
Ground ball to second. And the interesting thing, David, and you know this, you've been so active with the union, that's the last thing the Players Association wanted was free agency for everybody.
They wanted a minimal amount of players on the free agent market every winter, just so their salaries would get inflated. It would help everybody. But Charlie Finley was the owner of the A's, and the rest of the owners wouldn't listen to him because he was such a maverick. I mean, here's a guy who wanted orange baseballs. He used to have a rabbit pop out of behind home plate and give the new balls to the umpire.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. Alex grounded to first on a breaking ball in the second. He's at 520 home runs. Looking to tie Williams and McCovey at 521. There's a breaking ball strike.
You kind of see Buchholz just kind of drop his breaking ball over at will, and good speed too. He throws his fastball right in the low 90s and his curveball's down in the low 70s, and that's a great variance. 20 miles an hour. I used to look for 15, 12 mile an hour variance on my breaking stuff, and when you get up in the 20 mile an hour variance between fastball and breaking ball, that's tough to time for the hitter.
High fly ball center field. Coco Crisp. Boy, was that up there for a while, and it finally settles in his glove as Buchholz works another 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning at Fenway. There's no score. Yankees and the Red Sox on yes. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning, and there's no score. The Red Sox have yet to get a base runner against Chien-Ming Wang, so the top of their order comes up again here in the fourth. Crisp, Pedroia, and Ortiz. Chien-Ming Wang 2-0, 1.38 coming into this game. His ERA now down to 1.13. He's thrown 30 pitches, 21 strikes. And Crisp fouls it away. I guess when you throw that many strikes and a high percentage of strikes, why take pitches if you're a batter? So Coco Crisp up there hacking.
Kind of see the Red Sox all have been swinging early in the count. They faced Wang quite a bit over the last couple of years. They know they don't want to get deep in the count. Sometimes the first pitch is the best one you're going to see, and Coco Crisp took a hack right there.
That's how he keeps his pitch count down too. He gets outs early in counts, and right now he's got Coco Crisp 0-2.
Yankees and the Red Sox always play their season series so close. Last year, the Yankees won 10 of the 18 games. Red Sox actually lost 6 of the last 7 games of the year as the Yankees came on strong. But since 2001, the Red Sox have been great against the Yankees in April. The Yankees played great against them late. But in April, the Red Sox 21-9 against the Yankees since 2001. The 0-2 popped up. Cano. And there is one away. It's time now for the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz answer. Off whom did Ted Williams hit his 521st and final home run? And the answer is, well, let's look.
Williams swings, and there's a long drive to deep right. That ball is going, and it is gone. A home run for Ted Williams in his last time at bat in the Major League.
Jack Fisher and the Orioles, and that was the Hall of Fame voice of Kurt Gowdy. What a way to go out, huh? Home run, final at bat.
Very few athletes get to go out on their own terms like that. It didn't work out for me, Michael, and that's something we all dream about, to be able to do something, walk out on your own terms, and as Kenny said, right to the dugout, right to the clubhouse, right to the shower, right to the car, and see you later.
Now, in a way, though, David, you walked out on the terms that you wanted. I remember I used to talk to you when you were a player, and you said, anybody who retires early, I don't understand. They're going to have to rip the uniform off of me. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, they did. That's true. I got a chance to come back and at least try to finish on my own terms. So really no complaints in that regard.
It's a hard life to give up.
It wasn't a dream, you know. It'd be nice to throw a perfect game in your last start.
Right.
You know, nobody gets to do that, but home run, you know, hitters get the chance, you know, a home run in your last at-bat. We saw footage of Mickey Mantle's 500th home run the other night, and the night of milestones and switch hitters, and Kenny learning how to switch hit from watching Mickey Mantle growing up in Queens.
But it's tough to go out with something great and then stay out, because Michael Jordan almost had that picturesque ending. He hit that shot to win the championship, retired, but then couldn't stay retired, and he came back. So if you pitched the perfect game in your last game, David, you're coming back the next year.
Yeah, that's probably true, too. Yeah, I'm lying. You're right. I would just keep playing until I knew I couldn't play. We don't know. That's the problem. We just don't know when it's time to go at the end of your career.
Line drive. Nice play by A-Rod. Gets to his feet. Across the diamond. And he's safe. The throw pulled Giambi off the bag. First base umpire Paul now right there. And the throw from A-Rod just a little bit high.
A-Rod's made some good plays lately at third base. We saw him make a nice play on a bunt by Tony Pena Jr. in Kansas City. First of all, looks like he's stopping Pedroia from getting an extra base hit. Up. Nah, not down in time. You can see Pedroia's foot just ahead of Giambi getting back down on the bag. But here's, first of all, the stop. And then the throw. Gets rid of it quickly. You can see it has a little more air time than usual. And up in the air, up. And you can see Pedroia does beat the play. And he's in there safely. We'll see how they score it. Remember, Wang has not given up a hit to this point. Maybe they want, sometimes the official scores want that first one to be a clean one. It's a hit.
Official scores in New York might want it to be a clean one. Here's David Ortiz, and A-Rod gets another chance. Let's see if they turn two. There's one. And Ortiz struggles continue. One for his last 24 as he bangs into a 5-4-3 double play. So Chien-Ming Wang has pitched to the minimum 12 batters over 4 innings. He gives up a hit this inning, but quickly erases it with an around-the-horn double play. We go to the 5th, no score. Well, thank you, Robert. You see, they have now changed that hit to an error, and that's a tough error. So maybe they did let it come into play that he's pitching a no-hitter, although 4 innings, it's kind of ridiculous. You get the feeling that if the Red Sox get another hit, they'll probably change that back to a hit. But right now, it's an E5. And that's a tough error on A-Rod because he made a good play to get to the ball. Corona extra scoreboard, no score.
Yeah, the degree of difficulty was definitely there. But I think you're right about the point that if there's another hit, he'll go down and talk to A-Rod after the game. And A-Rod will say, what? An error? And they'll change it.
I think they'll go down and talk to Pedroia. And he'll go, that was a hit.
Yeah. He's pulling more weight.
Pedroia in Boston.
In Boston, maybe.
Although you could look at that play 2 ways. That the difficult play was getting the ball. So he made that. Then he got up and he had time. Just the throw was high. Maybe that's what the way the official score is looking at.
See, but when you're scrambling to your feet, you don't know how much time you have. You know you have to get rid of the ball because you've been down on the ground. See, now he has to scramble and make the throw.
Well, when the play happens at third base, there's not a lot of time. Certainly a good throw would have had him, but you kind of look like A-Rod got his spikes caught up in the dirt a little bit, trying to scramble to his feet and get off the throw. It's all in one motion. When you lay out for a ground ball at third base, that's the longest throw across the infield, and you got to get up and make it all in one motion.
Well, there's only been 1 hit in this game, and that's the man who has it.
Now you can see from your screen that it's starting to come down pretty hard here again at Fenway Park. And the question, David, is this: does that rain and the constant rain take anything away from the pitcher? Is there any pitch that it's difficult to throw because of the precipitation of the ball?
Well, I think it's more about landing. The first thing you think about is your spikes and your stride and being able to make sure that you can hit your spot, hit your mark, and not slip out of it, because that's what's going to cause an injury, is if you slip on your feet.
So you're not concerned about gripping a curveball or anything like that? You get enough traction even though the ball might be wet?
Yeah, you can see Clay Buchholz kind of wiping his hand on his pant leg there. But you've got the rosin bag. You've got things that can help you. That's the spot right there. That's the hole that you kind of, right there is the mark you try to hit. And you establish that mark throughout the game. And that's the spot that you need to have to get your control and get your balance under you. And if you start sliding off that mark, it not only affects your control, it could lead to injury.
3-2. Now, let me ask you the hitter's side, Kenny. Is it more difficult for a hitter with the rain coming down? So sometimes there's droplets coming off the bill of the helmet.
Yeah, every once in a while you see a hitter with his arm, or if he's just like that, right on cue. Hideki Matsui, he cleans off the bill of his helmet to keep the droplets from coming down. I think your concentration levels as a hitter are so high that you really can't afford to let the rain bother you. You've got to be watching the pitcher. In many ways, he's got your life in his hands, so you've got to follow the ball, not worry about the raindrops.
3-2, and Matsui, the Yankees' only base runner, on base for the second time. So leadoff walk.
I think, and you asked Coney about the ball getting wet. If you watch Buchholz, from the windup, he keeps the ball in the glove. I know when David pitched, you actually kept the ball in your hand behind your back. So I don't know how much the rain would affect it when you throw.
Well, you've got rosin, you know, and you can always step off the mound. Nothing happens until you throw it, so it's not like a hitter. A hitter has to react. You know, the pitcher could step off the mound, go to the rosin bag, and certainly wipe your hand off and get ready to pitch. And I think the onus is on the hitter. You know, other than what we showed earlier, as far as the conditions of the mound, as long as you can keep your traction.
Now, Kenny, you mentioned earlier that it's tough on outfielders when the rain's coming down because the raindrops are illuminated in night games.
Yeah, that's. I remember playing in Montreal. I had a lot of bad weather at Jerry Park. In fact, there was one night on June 9th, I was looking up and I said, that's not really rain coming down. It's June 9th. It was snowing. The reason why I remember that, because the next night's my birthday. I've never seen it snow on my birthday before.
And new stands here in left field, rooftop stands, as they continue to squeeze every last inch out of Fenway Park, add more seating. Over the years, they've added the monster seats and then the seats down the right field line, and now they replaced what used to be a single luxury box out there that was used for the All-Star game in '99, and they put those seats there and also that Coca-Cola sign.
The oldest ballpark in the major leagues.
Well, they're not done yet.
Yeah,
they're not done yet, right, Michael? There's more plans next year to extend more seating down the right field line.
That one is lined down the right field. They'll check that the left field line, and it goes into the seats foul.
Yeah, it's hard to hit a ball foul then.
This ballpark will turn 96 on April 20th.
Right there, that's what I'm talking about right up here. They're going to extend right down here along this line right here, and they're going to extend the upper deck on down and create more seating that way, much the way it is down the left field line, as you've got the third tier that extends on down almost to the foul pole. I got that from Charlie, the clubhouse guy, when he came to the tour today, Michael.
You must have been really bored in the hotel to get here at 2 o'clock.
I played through, straight through. Sleep with your dad. You know, that's the old school. But, you know, a couple hours, that's fine.
You look bright and chipper today.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
4 games and then I get off. You know, it's not like I play every day like you guys. I like this rotation. I told Flip maybe we can just do the pitcher's rotation once every 5 days.
Yeah.
I'd be nailed.
You lighter.
Yeah, just rotate us once every 5 days.
3-1. That one's bounced up there.
And Buchholz is having a little more problem this inning. He's not getting his breaking ball over. There's the walk to Posada. Back-to-back walks. And this is his first inning where he's really shown some signs of struggle.
So it could be, Michael. It's an individual thing. You know, you brought up the moisture on the hands, the rain, the pitcher. They are allowing to blow on your hands tonight because it's a cold night. And that's a true advantage for a pitcher. You're able to go to your mouth with your hand, which normally is a balk. So you know, you've got some advantages on a cold night as a pitcher in terms of what you can do with your hand, the texture. But he seems to clearly be affected so far by the rain, or maybe more the Yankee lineup as Jason Giambi steps in here.
Giambi hit a hard line drive to Coco Crisp in the second inning.
You know,
he takes a strike.
There's the problem for Giambi right there. He needs something to get you going. It could be a broken bat, little looper, some 8 players lunging for it and they can't get it, and a run scores. And that's sometimes a hit that can turn you around.
Well, out of the stretch, that ball is certainly exposed to the elements. First and second, nobody out. Now, we've spoken about this before, where this fly ball is center in the second. He's 1 for 19. At this point, Kenny, you're starting to get a little antsy at 1 for 19?
It's a long season. I mean, really, you're looking for anything positive. 1 for 19. Even if he goes 1 for 5 tonight, I mean, that's even better. Just to get a hit. I'm not really going nuts until I get to around 100 at-bats. If I only have 10 hits, then I'm thinking, we got to change something pretty soon here.
The 2-1.
I wasn't that good a hitter in April anyway. I didn't really like the cold weather. I think there was only 1 year where I really jumped off well in the course of the season, and that was 1981. My first swing of the year was a home run. And I felt like, hey, this is the year. Hey, this is my April. And I ended up hitting 470 that night.
Did that go all the way to stickball in Queens on the streets?
No, I grew up in Westchester. I only went to Queens to go to parties.
And there's a strike, so the count 2-2. Rain lessening just a bit. Still a constant drizzle, but the start of the inning was coming down a lot harder.
Now here's the situation, Michael. If I'm Giambi and I'm looking at Buchholz, he's used his curveball to get ahead twice here. He's gotten the count back to 2-2 with 2 curveballs. Now, how are you going to finish me off? You try to come in with a fastball. You got him set up for a fastball in, and you try another curveball.
See how he goes. Goes with the fastball, and Giambi fouls it away.
He hit the target.
He did hit the target. That's one of the things, that the hitters want to know in hitters meetings is what's his out pitch? What does he try to finish with? The finish pitches. And we know he's got a good curveball. He's got 3 pitches, decent fastball, and a changeup. You get in this position, Giambi's seen everything he has. He's had to throw 3 or 4 curveballs to get the count back to even. 2-2 count. What are we going to do to finish him?
Veteran catcher Jason Varitek making that decision. And the 2-2. He got him. Changeup. Giambi now 1 for 20, way out in front.
And that's the perfect finish pitch. The ball that looks like a strike the whole way. He hadn't thrown a changeup the whole at bat. Curveball to get ahead to 1-0. Tries a fastball in, misses. Another fastball in, misses. There's the curveball to get back to 2-2. Fastball away. Here's the changeup. The one pitch he hadn't seen in the bat. Great finish pitch.
The key pitch in that whole sequence was the 2-1 curveball. When the hitter was up there and he figures, well, he's going to have to come in here, and then all of a sudden he drops a hook on you, and a good one. That's the one that changed the whole at bat.
Molina way out in front, lines one into left center field. That is a base hit. It splits the outfielders, and it goes to the warning track. Matsui scores. Posada will stop at third. It's a big RBI double for Jose Molina, and the Yankees are out in front 1-0.
Oh, we talked about Jose Molina. He had a couple of doubles in Kansas City, and he has one here tonight. This is his 5th double of the year. He leads the Yankees in this category. Seems like whenever he gets a hit, it's a 2-base hit. And this time it's going to drive in a run as Hideki Matsui led the inning off with a base on balls. A dreaded leadoff walk will come around to score as Jose Molina. In Kansas City, it was the right center field gap. Here in Boston, it's the left center field gap. And the Yankees have a 1-0 lead.
Well, this tells you something about what Terry Francona thinks of Chien-Ming Wang. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. They're bringing the infield in with Alberto Gonzalez at the plate. Now, maybe they're thinking light-hitting shortstop. They don't want him to just put the ball in play and get in a run. They want him to earn it, but they don't really have to have the infield that far in. Posada doesn't have good speed at 3rd.
Yeah, but that puts even more pressure on a young hitter. That he realizes that they're bringing the infield in here. Of course, it makes it easier if he hits the ball hard to get a hit.
And the 1-0. Now we see Varitek working with Buchholz, and John Flaherty, who's in the studio with Bob Lorenz tonight, has told me that he spent the spring training with Reds. I couldn't believe how great a guy Varitek was, with a great leader. You pitched to him. Is he a great catcher?
Absolutely. He is so important to the Red Sox. Not only as a catcher, the way he works hitters and in and out. And you can see Buchholz is not going to shake off the Jason Varitek. Jason Varitek's leading this game today, and Buchholz is following his lead.
The count 3-0 on the number 9 hitter, light-hitting Alberto Gonzalez.
He is so important. There's been a lot of debate about Jason Varitek. He's had a great career with the Red Sox. He's getting up in years. His contract's coming up due. What are they going to do with him? They cannot afford to let this guy go. He's that important as a leader and that important as a handler of pitchers.
Jason Varitek might have been the happiest guy during the offseason when Jorge Posada, at the age of 36, signed a 4-year deal, because that you just don't give 4-year contracts to 36-year-old catchers. But the Yankees knew how important Posada is, and they gave him more than they wanted to. Kind of almost forces the Red Sox hand to do the same thing with Jason Varitek.
It is, and you know, it's a difficult decision for management nowadays.
And he walks Gonzalez.
I think it's easier with a guy like Varitek, who's a true leader and an everyday guy and a catcher, as it is with a pitcher, maybe a 35 or 36-year-old pitcher. Because if you go back and do the research, and you're talking about options and extensions, it works out more with position players than pitchers at that age.
Looks like there's some stirring around out in the Red Sox bullpen as John Farrell, the pitching coach, will come out and talk to young Mr. Buchholz.
I've been told by several scouts, David, that if Jason Varitek becomes a 180 hitter, he's still worth it that opportunity.
I believe that's true. I think he's that well respected in that clubhouse. He is. I mean, Flash is exactly right. He is just such a great guy. And he's the type of guy that walks into a clubhouse and commands respect. He has that presence by the way he carries himself. He doesn't demand respect. You know, he earned it. And people realize that.
As far as the Yankees are concerned, everybody knows that Derek Jeter's a captain. But if there's a 1A captain, I think it's Jorge Posada. Because while Derek might be a little, he'll make his statements, but if somebody's going to get in your face on the Yankees, it's going to be this guy. It's going to be Posada. Says we're not playing the way we should be playing.
That's exactly right. Posada plays with a little chip on his shoulder, and he got a little old school mentality with him too.
78 pitches for Buchholz, 24 pitches this inning. Bases loaded, infield back again. And here is Melky Cabrera, who takes a strike. Every time he gets into trouble, he goes to that breaking ball. That's the pitch he feels best with.
Yeah, a lot of guys try to pitch off their fastball. Clay Buchholz pitches off his curveball. He'll throw it at any time in the count, and his curveball sets up the rest of his pitches. As you see Javier Lopez warming up there, the lefty.
Posada at third, Molina at second, Gonzalez at first. Pitch is high. He's really lost the strike zone this inning. Been coasting along over 4, and the walk to Matsui kind of started at this inning. The interesting thing is a lot of people, when they're critiquing the Yankees, are trying to pick where will the Yankees finish. Well, how are the Yankees going to do well? They've got 2 rookies in their starting rotation, and they're going to add Jabba later. Well, the Red Sox have those same questions. Clay Buchholz, I know he pitched a no-hitter. He's pitched 4 major league starts. And you got John Lester, who's another kid. They've got those same question marks. They really do. And their bullpen has question marks as well. But they're coming off a world championship. Line drive right at Casey. And he beats Gonzalez to the bag for an inning-ending double play. And Tony Pena has a couple of words with Alberto Gonzalez, who probably strayed a bit too far off of first base. So Buchholz catches a break. Cabrera hit it right on the screws, but right at Casey, and Gonzalez is way too far off the bag. That's 2. Yankees lead 1-0. After the Red Sox were in Tokyo, they headed to L.A., where they played the Dodgers in an exhibition game at the L.A. Coliseum. A major league record, 115,000 people on March 29th to watch the Red Sox come into that famous Olympic Stadium. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar threw out the first pitch, and Kevin Youkilis hit a moonshot over that screen. It's about 200 feet to left field. A cheapy little home run, but Terry Francona said it was just an amazing experience. It was an unbelievable thing to be there, and it was the 50th anniversary of the Dodgers being their Corona Extra scoreboard. Yankees with a run in the 5th. They lead 1-0. Manny Ramirez will lead off against Chien-Ming Wang.
You mentioned a moonshot. The reason why it was called a moonshot, it used to be 251. Now there are more seats in the Coliseum, so it was actually shortened in this particular game to 200 feet. 251 with a high screen, and Wally Moon was a left-handed hitter for the Dodgers, and he perfected the inside-out swing and just lofted him over that screen, much like a tennis ball over a tennis net, and that became the moonshot in Los Angeles.
And you might wonder, well, why did the Dodgers play there? Well, when they moved from Brooklyn, they had to play somewhere as Dodger Stadium was being built, so they played at the LA Coliseum, which is the only venue to host a World Series game, a Super Bowl, and an Olympics.
Dodgers have now played more games in Los Angeles than they played in Brooklyn.
And Vin Scully's announced more games in Los Angeles than he did in Brooklyn. Foul back. Well, Chien-Ming Wang is pitching beautifully. He's faced the minimum 12 batters. He gave up an E5 in the fourth and quickly erased on an Ortiz 5-4-3 double play. Third start for him, David. What are you seeing from Wang? Is he pitching differently than he did in the first two games? Is he pitching differently than he did last year?
Well, I think he has. I think he's come in with sort of a mission this year to mix it up a little more and give hitters different looks.
That one's driven out deep to right field, giving chase Abreu. A lot of room out there. He runs it down for the first out.
He has. You know, Chien-Ming Wang is not the type of guy who's going to call his own game. He's not going to shake off a lot of pitches. He's going to follow the lead of the catcher. And how fortunate to have Jose Molina right now. Not really a backup catcher, but certainly in that role. And as you see here, he's just 2-1 fastball out over the plate with Manny. Deep part of the park, and pretty much a can of corn at this point with Bobby Abreu camping right there.
And we mentioned in Wang's last start that to become an ace and you're starting against a good pitcher, the whole idea is to make sure your team scores first. And in that particular game, the Yankees won 2-0. It was a tight ball game, but Wang, who went 7 strong innings, as you can see, since 2006, nobody in baseball has won more games than him.
You know, and it's ironic, you know, a guy in that position, we're talking about still needing to evolve a little bit, still needing to change his patterns, and he's really shown an aptitude to continue to evolve and change his.
Another high fly ball to deep right, but again, there's a lot of room out there. You know what, at Yankee Stadium, it could be 2-1 Red Sox right now, but there's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th.
I was going to say to change his style a little bit and his patterns. And he's so efficient, though. When he's on a roll like this, this is the night when it's okay to feature less. Less is more. His sinker's so good. He's throwing more four-seamers in. And to your point, Michael, that probably goes back to the manager, Joe Girardi. He wants all of his pitchers, from Mike Mussina at the top all the way through, to pitch more hard four-seamers in to sort of protect the integrity of his sinker. I think when you get two sinkers, it's obvious Chien-Ming Wang has the best sinker in the game. But to protect the integrity of the sinker, you need to mix it up and you need to throw more hard four-seamers in. And he's pretty much gotten away with in and out. Good hard four-seamers in and good sinkers away.
And this really is dictated from the manager and the coaches. Dave Island has been really, with Wang and Mussina, you've got to command inside to make your other pitchers work. I don't care how weak you think your fastball is that day, you've got to trust it on the inside corner, and they've done it so far. Another high fly ball to right field. Another deep fly ball. Abreu back in front of the Red Sox bullpen, and that ball is gone. He did not look the ball into his glove. It landed in the bullpen. A home run for J.D. Drew, and it's 1-1. Looked like he had it measured. Looked like he was there, but he didn't come up with the ball.
Chien-Ming Wang kind of just going after him with a 1-0 fastball, trying to get the sinker down and away. Doesn't get it down. Drew gets a good swing on it. And we see Abreu go back here, and he gets to the wall in time. Hard to tell from that angle. Just not quite enough. Looked like he thought he had room. You see him take a peek at the wall there. He kind of reaches out, finds the wall. Looks like he's got it measured, and no.
He got a little too close to the wall.
It didn't look like his hip stopped him.
And when he went to jump, the wall is going to stop him from elevating even more. If he leans back and just, you know, goes from the waist over, he can get up a little bit more and make the play. That's happened to just about every outfielder. You get too close to the wall, and when you go to jump, the wall stops you.
Exactly what happened. Got a little ricochet effect.
Another deep drive. This one off the bat of Baratek. And Melky Cabrera is there, so wow, about a mile of fly balls, and one just made it over the wall, and just barely. It seemed like the wall blocked Bobby Abreu with the hip. He couldn't get up enough, and the ball was a home run. Well, Bobby Abreu will come up second this inning, and he was trying to explain to his teammates what happened.
Well, you got to go back to the wall and kind of leap horizontally over the wall. That way you got your boarding house reach there. And You know, he got too close to it and bounced into the wall and couldn't get up high enough. The wall just stopped him. Yep, and he's showing, yeah, I hit it with my shoulder and couldn't get up over it. Got to take that last leap right about there and just leap and hope for the best.
Now, any concern at all, David? Every single one of the balls hitting that inning, long fly balls. Is Chien-Ming Wang getting too far away from the sinker?
Well, it looked like those were, he was trying to throw sinkers. You know, Molina, I could see the signs where he gives kind of the wiggle on the one finger, and he wanted that ball to sink, and it looked like they just flattened out on him that inning. And I don't think it was a question of what type of pitches he was throwing. It was more of a question of executing the sinker, and he just didn't do it that inning.
Here's Robinson Cano. So Clay Buchholz, it's 1-1, and that home run was the first hit by the Red Sox, and it was a big one, as the game is tied at 1 as we head to the 6th.
Drew's been hot. He's had a hit in every game that he's played. He got off very well last year, too. He had a 9-game hitting streak to start the season. This year, it's an 8-game hitting streak.
Cano 0 for 2, 7 for 41 on the season, and there's a strike.
You know, on the home run pitch to Drew, you know, it's a sinker away, and we talked about that earlier, the Bell and Whale style versus the dive and hook. J.D. Drew's a dive and hook style. That still was an outer half, almost to the outside corner, and J.D. Drew was able to dive and hook that ball and hit it out to right center.
That one's lined into right center. Coco Crisp got a good jump, and he puts it away for the first out. Now, we talked about the old days, David. Gibson, Nolan Ryan, you do that next time up, you're going to get thrown at.
That's exactly right. As we see Cano's line drive right here. But yeah, that is the exact point that Nolan Ryan made to me when I talked to him when I was a rookie. He said, you hit a home run on a pitch like that, and you can say, yeah, it didn't sink, and he didn't get it where he wanted to, but that ball was close to the outside corner. And if you go out and hook it and pull it and hit it out to right center, the next time Nolan Ryan's going to give you a bow tie, no doubt.
Not necessarily throw to hit you, but just say, hey, don't dive over the plate.
Yeah, the outside corner is mine. You're not allowed to go out and especially pull it.
Here's Abreu, and there's a strike. So the Yankees had their opportunity in the 5th inning to build a little bit of a lead. They had the bases loaded, 1 out, but Melky Cabrera lined into an unassisted double play to first. Alberto Gonzalez reigns too far off the bag at first, so they could only score 1 run. There's a strike.
If you're Buchholz, you're thinking that he gave up a run last inning. He walked 3. There's only 3 batters he's walked in the game. And sort of had a struggling inning. Now his team ties the game up for him. Maybe that gives him a little resurgence as he hits the mound this inning.
And the 0-2. Right back to Buchholz. And there are 2 outs. Now Alex Rodriguez coming to the plate. Yesterday's home run in Kansas City tied Bobby Mercer on the Yankees all-time list, 19th with 175. And before the game, Alex spoke with our very own Kim Jones and said what it meant to tie Bobby Mercer. I had some nice words for him as well.
Bobby is an incredible human being, and you know, I didn't get a chance to play him much. I know Lou Piniella talked very, very highly of him all the time. And you know, sitting down with Bobby, some of my struggling days in the clubhouse, he'll come over and say just a few kind words to kind of get you going in the right direction, and that just tells you what an unselfish and great human being he is.
Now, I don't know if you guys had heard this, but I got an email yesterday from Bobby's wife, Kay, because Bobby had undergone more tests at MD Anderson in Houston, and all the tests came back great. So we knock on wood, and when they come back great, we hold our breath every 3 months. But Bobby came through with flying colors, and we hope to have him in the booth in a short period of time here. And yes, I know he's itching to get back. So if you're watching Bobby, nice word from A-Rod, and we certainly miss you here. And when Bobby comes back, David, then you get closer to that 5-man rotation that you're looking for.
That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, and from my standpoint, I get, contemporary and another hitter in the booth.
A-Rod's 0 for 2 tonight, and the 1-1.
You know, Kenny, you talked about Buchholz having new life. He obviously struggled last inning. He was lucky to get out with 1 run and the big double play ball on the line drive in that last inning. And you can see Varitek. He's very demonstrative behind the plate. And, hey, you give him a couple of fist bumps. I mean, they're pretty simple with their signs. You know, 1's a fastball, 2's a curve. And there you see. That goes back to Little League right there.
Now, I wonder if it's tough for A-Rod because he's trying to read Buchholz. Gee, this kid threw me a breaking ball. But he's got to be reading Varitek.
It's the other way around. You're very correct about that. When we played the Red Sox back in the day, you were reading Carlton Fisk as much as some of their pitchers. And when you're playing the Yankees, you were thinking about what Thurman Munson might call as opposed to what the pitchers are thinking about.
So A-Rod can't think, well, here's a kid on the mound. He's going to try to trick me with the same pitch. He's got to think there's a veteran behind the plate that's making all those decisions.
It's Varitek who's in control of the game.
You can see right there, Varitek wouldn't, you know, Buchholz tried to shake him off there. Varitek wanted the fastball in. Varitek wouldn't take no for an answer. He gave it to him again, and then Buchholz steps off. And we'll see who wins this battle.
Varitek sets up inside, now back over the plate, and there's a line drive base hit.
See, the kid was wrong.
Absolutely. He shook off the veteran catcher 3 times. And look at that look. Varitek's looking at him saying, see, I knew. Stay with me, kid.
That is some stare.
That's a veteran leader. And hey, kid, you got barely you know, a couple months in the big leagues. I've been here a long time.
Are you surprised he let him throw it?
Well, it wasn't the best curveball either. You can see that it's kind of right there about middle. And, you know, A-Rod's too good a hitter. He's not going to miss it.
But you can't hang the fastball.
Well, you know, certainly you can, but I think it was a question of you know, the flow of the game. And Varitek remembers A-Rod's at-bats, and he's got a history with A-Rod, and he might see something with A-Rod in the box that, with his stance, and there's that look right there. Hey, kid, you know, go with me. Stop shaking me off. I knew what I was doing. And Buchholz shook him off 3 times.
That was almost a look you get from your parents. Don't touch the stove, and then when you do and you get burned, they go, okay, all right, you touched it. Breaking balls outside, 1-0. Now, as you get older, you know, a pitcher and a catcher might be coming to a disagreement, but as our colleague Kitty said, you used to get the W or the L by the pitcher's name, not the catcher's name.
It never says losing catcher in the paper.
Mike Timlin warming. He just came off the DL today. 42-year-old right-hander. The 1-0. Driven deep to left field. Going back is Manny Ramirez. He's going to play that off the monster. Alex Rodriguez rounding third. He's going to stop right there. Boy, that was played beautifully by the Red Sox, and they know that wall very well, so they got the ball in quickly, and A-Rod could not advance. A double for Matsui, his second hit of the night. He's on base 3 times.
Yeah, for all his troubles in the outfield from time to time for Manny, cutting balls off or just missing them and rolling over and doing all sorts of tricks out in left field. This time he played it pretty well. He knew exactly where the camera was going to come off. He's been out there for a number of years now in Boston. Matsui continues to hit the ball well, his second hit tonight. But right there, Manny comes up with it and gets it back in. He misses the first cutoff man, but Pedroia's right there to take up the throw. And Manny, yeah, he must have been good in geometry because he played the angles very well there.
Yankees 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Manny took geometry at George Washington High School in New York.
Is that a hat with dreadlocks, or is that really his hair, Michael? What do you think?
I think it's really his hair.
A Halloween costume.
I think they sell those at the souvenir shop.
They probably do here in Boston.
So now a big at bat for Jorge Posada. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. We're in the 6th inning. Good game. It's 1-1. Yankees and the Red Sox. First of 3 in Boston. And Posada skips rope. .96 pitches for Buchholz, 57 strikes, 39 balls. And the 1-0. There's a strike. Posada didn't like that. Turned around quickly to Onora. As a DH, he can complain. When he's catching, he's not going to complain because you want that call for your pitcher.
Varitek setting up inside, kind of snatches it back just a little bit. I thought it was close, and you know, Posada's a veteran. He can get away with this, but you can see Onora kind of staring him down, and enough's enough. You said your piece.
The pitcher thought it was close. Kenny, what'd you think?
That was a ball. I want the count. I want to be ahead on every count. If I could step to the plate with a 2-0 count every time, instead of hitting 300 at your best, you'd be 350 here.
What a great call. A changeup here. And that's a veteran catcher again. Posada's mad. He just got an inside fastball called on him and pulled the string. You know Posada's itching to swing the bat.
Sellout crowd on its feet here at Fenway. Buchholz from the full windup and the 1-2. Grounded to second. The kid will work out of it. Pedroia to Casey, and that'll do it. So the Yankees strand 2 more runners, and they continue to have trouble hitting with runners in scoring position. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 1-1. It's time right now to take a look at the game summary presented by Sharp Aquas, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. 1-4-1 for the Yanks, 1-1-0 for the Red Sox. Molina drove in the Yankees' only run. Yankees 1 for 5. Runners in scoring position, 14 for 79. J.D. Drew a solo home run. The Red Sox only hit. Chien-Ming Wang no-hitter through 4 2/3. Buchholz 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Buchholz will watch as Chien-Ming Wang delivers to Sean Casey. That one's driven to center field. Melky Cabrera there in left center. 1 pitch, 1 out. Although there's 5 straight balls in the air for Wang. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Robbie Thompson, the bench coach. Dave Island, the pitching coach. And Thompson is warning the Yankee infielders about Julio Lugo maybe bunting.
Had 27 infield hits last year, including 9 bunt hits.
Red Sox came under some fire when they signed Lugo to a free agent contract because if you look at the history of championship teams, not many of them have shortstops that are considered below par defensively. Julio Lugo, not a great defensive shortstop, but the Red Sox made it work, and they actually swept the World Series. In fact, the 2 championships they've had in the last 4 years, both of them, World Series sweeps.
I don't think Terry Francona has managed a losing game in the World Series.
Nope. Terry Francona now one of 4 managers to have managed at least 2 World Series sweeps. And he's 22-9 overall in the postseason. Now, the other 3 managers that have managed at least 2 World Series sweeps, obviously they're all Yankee managers. Joe McCarthy did it 3 years. Miller Huggins 2, Joe Torre 2. And now Terry Francona in 04 and 07. And the 2-1. Hit sharply at the middle. Alberto Gonzalez gets in front of it, gets rid of it quickly. And there's 2 away. Hey fans, get another chance to see all the big hits with great plays another time around with WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore later after each game. And again the next morning at 9, and it's only on Yes.
Michael, you mentioned Gonzalez, so you can see why the Yankees like him at shortstop. Not only did he get to that ball quickly, he got rid of it quickly with something on it. He made a nice play last night in Kansas City to get a forced play at second on a lead runner.
He's brought some life, some energy to the clubhouse and to the dugout.
Pitch to Crisp is a strike.
You can see why the Yankees are so high on him. Joe Girardi, that's the guy he wanted. You know, when Wilson Bediment filled in for a game or 2, you know, Joe Girardi, this is the kid I want. He impressed him in spring training. He likes the way he handles the bat as well as his defense.
Popped up. Cano waved off by Gonzalez, and that'll do it. So another 1-2-3 inning for Chien-Ming Wang. He's thrown just 57 pitches through 6 innings. It's a 1-1 game.
Well, tonight after the post game on Yes, get the backstories of your favorite athletes from the people who know them best with the new series Yesterdays, presented by Nissan. On the series premiere, young slinger Jabba Chamberlain takes the stage with emotional tales from his father, his high school coach, his prom date, and more. Michael Kay hosts Yesterdays, premiering tonight after the postgame, only on Yes. And this is the one where you need the tissues, right?
Yeah, a lot, a whole box. We go to the 7th inning, a pitcher's duel. It's a 1-1 game in front of a jam-packed Fenway Park. And Mike Timlin will take the mound. And he's been on the DL with a lacerated finger. And he got it fielding the ground ball. So they take him off the DL, 42 years old, still throwing hard. Last year, 50 games, 3.42 ERA, less than a hit per inning. He's a very effective pitcher for them.
I think Timlin originally came up with the Toronto Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken, came through their organization, but that seems like eons ago.
So you were a teammate, right, David?
Thanks a lot, Kenny. He was my teammate, 1992, Canada's first World Series.
Was that my out loud voice?
He was. Played a prominent role in 1992 for the Toronto Blue Jays when we won Canada's first World Series, the first of back-to-back.
There's a pitch and one low to Jason Giambi. Giambi does not have great numbers against Timlin, 2 for 17. Doesn't have great numbers this year, 1 for 20. You can do the math, that's 050. So something has to give for Giambi at some point. One thing, and I know it's not easy to do, Kenny. You got the whole left side of the infield.
You want him to bunt.
No, not even a bunt. Just can't you place a ground ball that way?
Well, in spring training, he worked on hitting the ball the other way. Yeah,
so employ that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is now he's leading off the inning. I mean, you're in a 1-1 ball game. I mean, it's worth it to lay down one, try one. You might
get a double.
Double, exactly. The only person might have a shot be the third base umpire. Of course, he's thinking, you know, he hits one out. They got the lead right away.
Molina on deck. Bottom third of the order against Timlin.
You saw the on-deck shot of Molina right there. Now, he is right next to the stands, and for years, you know, you come up, those fans, some of them have a good sense of humor. They can be funny, but you're trying not to laugh. And some of them, they're not so funny. And you're trying not to turn around and say something. But it gives you incentive when you go up to the plate to do something to really hurt the Red Sox.
That carries over into the bullpen, too, Kenny. Warming up before the game at Fenway Park is a real test. And you're right. You do have to really deal with that. And that's part of some of these young pitchers on the Yankees, the Generation Trey. You got to go through pitching in these ballparks a few times, getting used to the atmospheres.
High fly ball, deep center. Going back is Crisp. He's on the track, turning. See ya! Home run, Jason Giambi. A lot better than the bunt. And he puts the Yankees in front 2-1.
Somebody must have said something to him when he was on deck. And that's, you know, the next time you come up, they don't say anything. They leave you alone. Now, this is going to be Giambi's first home run of the year. And you can see Coco Crisp going back about right there. He gives up and he's looking for the carom, which never came. And the Yankees have a 2-1 lead as Giambi connects for his first of the season. Just over the 379 sign in center field. There's Crisp about to run out of real estate.
Well, you could see Jason Giambi running around the bases. You talk about waiting to exhale. Well, there was a big breath right there.
Lined into left center field. It's a base hit from Molina. Looks like it's going to be another double as it goes to the wall. Played out there by Crisp. And Molina turning into a doubles machine. Second one of the night.
And no doubter doubles either. They're all stand-up doubles. So, you know, I guarantee all these doubles are stand-up doubles. Timlin, after the home run, tries to come with a fastball away. You see Jason Varitek reach towards the inner half, kind of a hanger. Molina does what you're supposed to with that.
Depending on what Travis Buck of Oakland does, Molina is now tied for the league lead in 2 base hits. That's number 6.
And depending on what Jason Kendall does, he has more doubles than any catcher in baseball. Kendall came in with 5 today, and Molina now with 6. So they have a little conference on the mound. Javier Lopez and Hideki Okajima warming in the Sox bullpen.
A little unusual to have 2 left-handers warming up.
Yeah, it is a little bit of unusual. You know, Terry Francona's kind of a progressive guy. You know, obviously he's taken situational. One's just a one-hitter guy, and the other guy is maybe going to get you out of the inning. One of them's a sidewinder, kind of a sidearm type guy, Lopez, and Okajima's obviously the guy who can come in for 1 or 2 innings.
Right here, you're looking for the bunt. Molina wouldn't be the easiest guy to move over to third. He's not particularly fast. So you have to make a really good bunt, and that bunt should be towards the third baseman. Make him field the ball. Get it by the pitcher and get the third baseman to field the ball. Make him come in to field it so the runner, Molina, can get the third. First baseman, Casey, should be charged. He'll be right down your throat.
Bunted right back to Tinley. He doesn't look toward third. He might have had a play, so the sacrifice is successful. 1-4.
What do you think, David? Did he have a chance?
He might have had a chance, but you know my theory. Most pitchers don't know what to do with it. And, you know, when in doubt, bunt to the pitcher.
He didn't even look.
You know, he didn't even look. You can tell Timlin's never been known as a great fielder, and he's going to take the sure out. And, you know, part of that's a scouting report. You know, there are, I mean, Greg Maddux and Gold Glove type guys you're going to be careful with, but he definitely had a chance. And, you know, he's going to take the sure out and take some guts to wheel around, do a 360, and make a solid good throw to third. Because if that ball gets down the line, you know, the run's definitely going to start scoring.
Well, Timlin's first appearance of the year, he gives up a home run and a double, leaves a runner on third base with 1 out. They called to the bullpen. We'll be back. Melky Cabrera will face probably an infield in. Yankees lead 2-1.
Is this the okey doke?
Sunday at 7:30. Don't miss the premiere of the Joe Girardi Show on Yes. Go inside the mind of the manager with our weekly Yankees review and preview show as the skipper looks back at the first 2 weeks of the season, including this weekend series with the Sox. It's the premiere of the Joe Girardi Show Sunday night at 7:30 only on Yes. First guest is, it's been confirmed now, it's going to be Charo.
Oh,
yeah, so that's
man.
exciting. We're all excited about that. It's been a long time booking her, but Joe's going to do a little monologue and move from there. Hideki Kojima comes in, and he's going to face Melky Cabrera. You see what Okajima's done in 5 games, and what a revelation he was last year. He looked like he was coming over to the Red Sox, so Daisuke Matsuzaka had somebody to hang out with, but he was probably more important to the Red Sox last year than Matsuzaka.
Yeah, he developed his own cult following and coming out of the bullpen. They called his changeup the okey-doke.
Infield in. And his changeup moves down and away from a right-hander. That one's foul back. That's why they brought in Okajima rather than Lopez, because they know that Cabrera's a switch hitter.
Yeah, Lopez continues to throw in the bullpen, so maybe they've got him in mind for one-hitter guy, or maybe Abreu, possibly Cano, depending on what happens here. But Okajima, you're right, Michael, can get out righties or lefties, so you gotta believe he's in for this inning.
Yankees lead 2-1. Big run at third base for the Yanks. That's Molina. Fly ball, right field. Drew has a good arm, settles underneath it. Tagging is Molina. Here's the throw. And it's not nearly in time. So the sac fly for Cabrera. A run scored for Molina, and the Yankees now lead 3-1.
Well, a couple of keys there. The double for, was he happy or what? A double. Then Gonzalez, you know, a young player getting the bunt down to get the runner to third and set it up for Melky, and Melky getting that run in from third. So the Yankees play a little small ball there, and it results in another run.
So 3-1 Yankees, top of the 7th inning, and here is Robinson Cano. Cano swings and misses. Cano's 0 for 3, 7 for 42, which equals 167.
Joe Girardi was talking about one reason he liked Gonzalez, because he can handle the bat. That's not so much talking about his hitting. That means, you know, he can get bunt down, you know, advance a runner if you have to. And there's a perfect example of what Joe was talking about. So Gonzalez was, even though he sacrifices, a big part of that second run. It's almost like you got the RBI yourself. Not really, but
Got to be an exciting feeling right there in Fenway Park, having some success. You said the other night he's in AAA, played behind Derek Jeter, thinking he's a mile away from the big leagues, and here he is in Fenway Park.
I think one thing you have to remember when you go down to the minor leagues, there is no team that plays with just 25 players through the whole year. So if you play well, your number might be called. It's going to be your chance.
You get the feeling, Michael, that maybe there's some Pacific Rim scouts looking for a guy just like this with the shortage of left-handed relievers around the major leagues and the success he had last year.
And they'll take chances on guys that might not be this good. I don't think the Red Sox thought the guy was going to be this good.
Certainly was a surprise and was very valuable last year and very deceptive. It's very rare you can get a late inning or sort of a setup left-handed reliever that can get righties and lefties out, give you 1, 2, 3 innings if possible. And looking around, hey, look over in Japan, find one just like him.
And you know what's weird, David? He wasn't this good in Japan, so it was hard to scout him. But here he is, second year with the Red Sox, 1-2, still 1-2.
But I think what happens to a lot of pitchers, and they have to make the adjustments because hitters, they catch on after a while. If you don't show them anything new or new wrinkle or any new patterns, and you start throwing just about the same way, they're going to change their approach and start getting some base hits.
I got a feeling Okajima is not going to shake off Varitek here.
And the 1-2. He struck him out. Cano's struggles continue. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. But the Yankees scored 2 runs to break the tie. And it started with this leadoff home run to center field by Jason Giambi. His second hit of the year, his first home run. Time for the 7th inning stretch. 3-1 Yankees.
Hand-operated scoreboard. They were changing in between innings, changing the numbers on the scores in the National League. And Bob Lorenz was just talking about that Mets score. It's 3-2 Mets in the 7th against the Milwaukee Brewers. Chien-Ming Wang has been outstanding once again. It's his 3rd consecutive good start. And David, when you look at him on the mound, I have a feeling that Joe Girardi is going to let him give up maybe 1 run, but that's it.
Yeah, at this point in the game, he's been solid. Like you said, he's had such a great start. And it's so nice to see the relationship he's developed with Jose Molina. As we said before, Jose Molina is not a backup catcher. The Yankees are lucky to have him right now, especially with Posada a little under the weather.
Pedroia takes a pitch over the outside corner for a strike, and now leaving the count at 1-1. Pedroia tonight has flat out to left and reached on an error.
They still have to change that back to a hit.
Maybe tomorrow in the paper.
1-1. Grounded foul.
Really very efficient tonight. Wang has been so efficient. Molina's done a great job of just pretty much working that sinker away and that 4-seamer in. A few sliders, a few splitters, but when that's working, you don't have to get too fancy, Kenny. You just make the hitters adjust to you. If your sinker's on a particular night, then we've seen him dominate with this type of performance and his fastball alone. It's on the nights when it's not working is when you need your secondary pitches.
And the 1-2. Now, you threw 88 pitches in your perfect game. Have you ever pitched a game, a complete game with less than that?
No, never. I wasn't that economical, as you know, Michael. I like to run that count deep sometimes, trying to get some strikeouts.
Do you remember the most pitches you ever threw in a game?
Well, I threw 166 pitches one night, and it was a 1-0 shutout, and I was 3-2 on everybody, Kenny.
166. That wouldn't happen nowadays.
You actually threw 145. I think in the game that changed the face of the Yankee franchise.
I wish it was 145.
It was 144,
147 right? Was ball 4 to Doug Strange. 95 playoffs, yeah, would have been better.
I always think, David, how life would have changed, or the history of this organization changes, if you guys win that series. Is Buck Showalter gone? Does Don Mattingly retire? Do the Yankees go on to beat the Indians and go to the World Series that year? A lot of questions.
On both sides. Yeah. You know, Seattle gets a new ballpark because of that.
Right.
And that franchise gets saved. They were worried about the Seattle franchise. Certainly, that was the most devastating clubhouse I'd ever been a part of after a loss. There were tears flowing like little leaguers. So I certainly had my share. I had my head buried in the towel and couldn't hold back. Buck Showalter was crying after the game. Don Mattingly's last game as a Yankee with a heroic effort during that postseason. And that was a devastating flight back home.
Yeah,
we talk about long flights. And we got in at 7 in the morning and coast to coast from Seattle to New York.
3-2. Played by A-Rod. He sets and fires. This time he does get Pedroia one away. I mean, that was 6 hours. David knows he was there of crying. And the guy who handled it the best, I thought, was Mattingly, walking up and down the aisle and comforting people, because I think everybody was sad for him because they knew that was it for him. And you know, I think Showalter was a little sad for himself. I think he knew that was it for him.
He was shell-shocked, you know, at that game. You know, I mean, he felt really hamstrung because Seattle sort of owned our bullpen. John Wetland really had a rough time with Edgar Martinez and Ken Griffey Jr. in that particular series. And ironically, we had Mo Rivera. Mariano sitting down there. He didn't know what we had.
Right.
He actually came in that game and struck out Buhner on 3 straight pitches.
Here's David Ortiz, 0 for 2. Pitch outside.
Michael, you mentioned Ortiz's struggles here in the early going. The Yankees hope it lasts at least one more weekend. 0-79. Bingo.
Grounded to third. Check that to first. The 3 in your scorebook. And he is 0 for 3 now. 3 for 39 on the season. And if he didn't talk to the media after last night's game, he's certainly not going to talk today. He is got a lot of things going on in that mind.
Well, you talk about body language, Kenny. That is, you know, obviously it is getting to him. You know, it's easy to say the guy's slumping, you know, kick a guy when he's down, but you know, his body language really tells the whole story.
You know, and it's another thing. If you're a player who fields a position and you're struggling, you still have a way to help the ball club by playing some solid defense. When you're DH and you're not hitting, you know, next thing to do is for you to sit on the bench and somebody else DH, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon here in Boston. But there's somebody with less clout than, you know, David Ortiz won't be playing tonight.
Francona actually pulled David Ortiz aside today before the game to tell him and remind him what a good player he is. And you might say, wow, like David Ortiz doesn't know. Everybody needs that reassurance. No matter how great you are, right?
Sometimes the best ball players are the most insecure ones. And, you know, ironic. That's ironic how that works, but it's very true. And you constantly have to prove yourself in this game, no matter what level you attain.
The 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Wang just pitching a beautiful ball game. The only blemish on the scoreboard, Bobby Abreu mistimed a long drive by J.D. Drew that ended up in the Red Sox bullpen. A legitimate home run, but a ball that Abreu would tell you he should have caught. And that's the only blemish. Yankees lead 3-1, bottom of the 7th, the 1-1. Trying to crowd Manny in the count 2-1.
You can really see kind of the formula tonight with Jose Molina and Chien-Ming Wang. He's kind of in and out, mix in a few sliders, couple of splitters. He's been so efficient that he really hasn't had a lot of deep counts, as we saw his pitch count earlier. Let's see what Molina does right here.
And the 2-1. Paints the outside corner 2-2.
That's a great pitch, because all these pitches inside have influenced Manny to crowd me. Now all of a sudden you can see Molina set up out here, and he right to the glove.
Right to the glove, and that's a strike that looked like a ball. It was off the plate and ran right on the plate at the last minute.
So now if Manny's up, he didn't know where he's going.
Strike 3, he's going outside, and Manny doesn't like it. Just a scintillating performance at this point by Chien-Ming Wang. He has allowed 1 hit and 1 run. He has pitched economically. He's thrown 70 pitches through 7 innings. We go to the 8th, 3-1 Yanks. Hey fans, tonight and all season here on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 3 of us here in the booth for the Chevrolet Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772, or for more information visit ChevyOffers.com. You can vote right up until the end of the game. Vote now, make your voice heard. Tonight's candidates are Chien-Ming Wang. I don't know if we have to go on. Number 2 is Clay Buchholz. Number 3, Jason Giambi. Number 4, Jose Molina. Standard text messaging, rates apply. Obviously, Wang's been great, but never know what happens in the final 2 innings.
Are you calling off the jam?
No, keep the jam alive. But we'll see how the final 2 innings play out. Happy Yankee fan. That's a brave person. When Yankee fans sit at Fenway Park with Yankee paraphernalia on, you're brave. You really are.
With your son, too.
Yeah.
I'm teaching him right away. This is the rivalry. This is how we do it.
We're coming back here. You're coming back here years from now and sitting right here.
And everybody's looking at them and hating them. New pitcher for the Red Sox is Javier Lopez. Yankees lead 3-1 as we go to the 8th. Here's Bobby Abreu. It'll be Abreu, A-Rod, and Matsui. There's a strike. Now, those are the numbers on Lopez. 4 games, a 9.0 ERA. 3 hits in 2 innings.
See by his delivery, he's usually called upon to pitch to left-handed hitters.
Now, David, you've modeled a lot of uniforms in your time. Now, your son right about now is getting ready to be steered one way or the other. What's his paraphernalia? What's he wearing?
What's he wearing?
Yeah. Uniform-wise.
He's got a golf club in his hand right now, Mike.
1-1. Nice play there by Casey. And the flip to Lopez. And there's one away. You figure by the time he's 18, Tiger's finished.
The Masters is on the TV at home. He's watching it.
Casey's a good backup infielder. He's a good first baseman even if he starts. Signed as a free agent with the Red Sox and playing there with the injury to Lowell as Euclid moves over to third.
You know, Michael, all kidding aside, what an advantage. We've seen so many, you know, Tony Pena Jr. in Kansas City with Tony Pena Sr. obviously, and some father and son teams. And what an advantage to be around a big league clubhouse and just to be around the game at that young of an age. And I'd love to be able to have a chance to bring him in the big league clubhouse.
Here's A-Rod. You're more than welcome to bring him around the booth. I don't know if you want to lead him this way, though.
Well, that's not a bad way to go. You know, you get fan mail, too, don't you?
Well, if people want to call it fan mail.
Hey, that's why there's a Hall of Fame wing on the media side, right? They're Hall of Famers.
I've heard about it. Count 1-1. Ground ball up the middle, a base hit for A-Rod.
You can kind of see right there, Kenny, that you talked about Lopez's style and that sidearm delivery, and then A-Rod just gets a good look at this.
Yeah, the left hand, he kind of hangs it out there and he says, here it is. Let's see if I can get it in a good enough spot that you can't hit it. But A-Rod, nice little comeback night for him. He was 0 for 2. Now he comes back with 2 hits and he's 2 for 4. You know, hitters remember that. Those are the things that really pump hitters up. David Ardsman was warming up in the Boston bullpen, but you know, I used to even think when I was 0 for 3 down in the game and I'd fight back with a 2 for 5 at the end, and I get on the bus after the game, especially if we won, feeling really good about myself and my chances of getting a couple of hits the next day.
This is also where the lineup comes into play too. Girardi's lineup tonight. You know, if you're Terry Francona, you're thinking, okay, you know, I got Lopez, the side-winding left-hander for Abreu or Cano, the lefty. Then you got A-Rod, and now you're back to the lefty with Matsui, so you're tempted to leave him in. And then you've got the switch hitter Posada following him up. And Girardi's really paid a lot of attention to how he structures his lineup and where he puts his switch hitters and how he stacks the lefties.
There's a strike. Count 0-1 on Matsui.
Yeah, switch hitters can make a manager look awfully good because then you don't fall into those traps where the manager can bring in a left-handed face 2 or 3 successive left-handed hitters to kind of stall your offense. All of a sudden you got Jorge Posada up there and he jumps over to the other side. And at this point in the season, I think he's hitting a little bit better right-handed.
Soft ground ball to third. Youkilis goes to second one, and no return throw to first. So Matsui reaches on the fielder's choice. He's been on base all 4 times. Hey, tomorrow night after the Yankees take on the Red Sox, turn right back here to Yes for the Nissan postgame. Join Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, and Kimberly Jones as they recap tomorrow's pivotal matchup, including exclusive interviews and analysis. It's the Nissan postgame tomorrow after the Yankees Red Sox game, and it's right here on Yes. So the game's on Fox. It's over. Boom. Turn right to Yes, and you'll get a postgame as if you would get if the game was right here on Yes. Here's Posada. Count 1-0 on Posada. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Posada tried to throw in the outfield about 4 o'clock, threw about 20 balls, and just didn't feel right. So they do not want to put him behind the plate yet. The Jeter update, he really couldn't do much, but when the Yankees were going to take BP, they put the tarp on the field. And in all likelihood, he's going to miss this series, and the Yankees are hoping that he gets back for Tampa Bay, which is on Monday.
You kind of see Francona trying to piece the last part of this game together and work his bullpen in.
Base hit. Oof. Almost hit Jerry Crawford. As Matsui moves to second.
Well, you mentioned that's why Posada's switch hitter is dangerous. If he jumps over the other side of the plate, Jerry Crawford's checking that for a wound. Look at him. Just go. He's still got the quicks. Jerry's been around a long time. Quickie quick step right there.
You can always laugh about it when it misses you. Here's Giambi, his home run in the 7th inning. Broke a 1-1 tie.
So this sets it up, Michael. You know, the 2 righties have gotten hits off of the side wide and lefty. He's got the 2 lefties out. Francona's tempted to leave him in, and now here's the payoff to Giambi.
Pitch inside, 1-0.
You know, on the flip side, you know, the Yankees haven't used their bullpen quite extensively in the Kansas City series. He's got the luxury of Chien-Ming Wang and a low pitch count. And nobody warming up for the Yankees as of yet, but certainly Mo's down there when ready.
Missed inside again, the count 2-0.
It might be one of those nights where it's a direct handoff to Mo, or maybe no handoff at all. You know, just one of those, you know, you fake the handoff and you swing around the side. Defense follows the guy you were going to give the ball to, and you go in for 6.
It's his ball game right there, right now.
Little bootleg.
Already in the bullpen. You know what's sad about the way the game is right now? Chien-Ming Wang should finish the game the way he's pitching, but the manager would be totally second-guessed if he leaves him in there in a 3-1 game, and let's see, he gives it up in the 9th. Why didn't you bring in Rivera?
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you bring in Rivera and he doesn't do the job, why didn't you leave in Wang? So it's a classic second-guess situation for manager. And he walks Giambi on 4 pitches. They're not going to leave him in, I don't think, to face Molina.
Nope.
And here comes Francona, so he's going to call on Aardsma, a former #1 draft pick of the San Francisco Giants. So Aardsma against Molina with the bases loaded. Yankees have a chance to break this baby open. Francona will take the ball from Lopez, who did not have a great inning. We're in the top of the 8th. Yankees leading 3-1. They are looking for more. Come on back. Well, the Red Sox started the season in Japan. We detailed how much traveling they've done, so we wanted to look back and see how the teams that have made that trip to Japan fared. Well, the Cubs played the Mets in 2000. The Cubs finished last in the American League Central. Check that, in the National League Central. The Mets lost in the World Series, so they had a good year. The Yankees won 101 games. and lost in that famous ALCS to the Red Sox after playing in Japan in 2004. And the Rays had their best season ever. The only season they've won 70 games after playing in Japan. And now we'll follow what the Red Sox and the Oakland A's do. Big moment in this game, David Aardsma against Jose Molina. David Aardsma did something that many people thought would never be done. He actually moved Hank Aaron up the #1 list in the baseball encyclopedia. Alphabetically, of course. Fouled away. Now, interestingly enough, all those teams that we just showed in April, the Mets were 15-9. The Cubs were 9-16 after coming back from Japan. The Yankees were 11-10. Tampa Bay was 6-13. And the Red Sox right now are 5-5. And the Oakland A's just finished a sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays. 1-1. Count 1-2.
Good swing right there. You can see Jose Molina's locked in. He's feeling good about it.
He hit well in spring training, too. He hit over 300 in spring training. He's just carried the stroke up north with him.
Well, when I see this, you reach out there and you see a fastball fouled straight back to the screen, and I'm on the mound. I'm feeling pretty lucky. I got away with one right there.
Yeah, that was a line drive over second.
Does that mean you don't go to a fastball here? You throw something else?
I'm throwing something else right here.
Because he's got your time.
He's got your time. So now's a good time for a breaking ball down the way.
Remember, it's up to Veritek to see that too, though.
And the 1-2. Popped up.
Fastball, but a different location. It was up and in. And what's it? He's think the ball's a little too slick. That the ball he just got from Brian O'Nora, so he gets another one.
Yeah, that's unusual for the catcher to look at the ball first. Yeah, maybe he saw a mark on it or something. But yeah, I like those marks. You got a little scuff on it. Give it to me, Kenny. I get mad at those guys who throw those out. You can see him with the splitter grip right there. So that tells you what he features. The reason for that being is a lot of times you can tip your split finger fastball off by getting the grip in the glove and maybe fanning open your glove. So you go ahead and start with it and bring it up and switch to your fastball. It's much easier.
Swing and foul back.
You know, we mentioned the other day that Molina, of course, played for the Angels for a number of years, and the hitting coach there is Mickey Hatcher. And Mickey Hatcher was a good two-strike hitter. Tough to strike out. He fouled several pitches off. He thought he made a good enough pitch, and then he get jammed and just loop one into the outfield for a base hit. You know, it's almost as if he teaches his hitters to cut down on their swing, just look for contact, more flat-footed, you know, less of a stride, just trying to put the ball in play, and maybe you get good enough wood, you just drop it into the outfield. It's all of a sudden your power stroke, you're not thinking about it unless the pitcher just throws one up there on the tee for you.
Archman's got a good arm. He looks like a fastball splitter guy. He's throwing in the mid-90s. And see Veritek deep right there. And with the bases loaded, obviously, sometimes you know, the second base runner, who's Posada right now, might tip off the hitter on location. So Veritek jumps inside and then jumps back outside.
You got two catchers working too, Posada and Molina.
Veritek's very cognizant of that fact of maybe a tip-off here or a sign-stealing thing. It's certainly not a Patriot Spygate thing, but this is gamesmanship here.
1-2, swing and a miss. He got him through the splitter, and Molina swings over the top. Nice battle there, and Aardsma wins out. So the Yankees have a chance to pad the lead, and they cannot get it done. He chose the right pitch right there. He's been throwing fastballs. Bottom drops out on that one. Speaking of the bottom, we go. Well, fans, keep it here on Yes. Following the last out for the Nissan postgame as Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty give you detailed analysis of this game against the Red Sox, and Kim Jones goes into the clubhouse for exclusive interviews with the key players. It's the Nissan postgame, and it's right here on Yes. Nice, crisp, clean game so far as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 3-1 Yankees. The Yankees have 8 hits, and they're still not getting hits with runners in scoring position. That's why the Red Sox are still in this game. And the reason the 3-1 lead feels pretty good, though, is because of that man, Chien-Ming Wang, who has been brilliant. Jabba Chamberlain warming for the Yankees in their bullpen. He pitched in yesterday's game in Kansas City, but he is ready again. But Chien-Ming Wang would like to keep him out there in the bullpen. So Kevin Youkilis leads off here in the 8th. And there's a strike. And Chamberlain warming up. Obviously, it's a hedge against Chien-Ming Wang faltering in this inning. But the only reason he's up is because that's just the way the game is played now. And you could almost blame Tony La Russa for it. The great Cardinals manager with the Royals, or should I say with the Oakland A's, this is what he developed. There were innings for certain pitchers, and you brought those pitchers into those innings in certain games.
It seems like especially the 8th and the 9th inning. You talk about the bridge to Mariano, and Java's in a backup role. Girardi certainly would love to see Chien-Ming Wang get through this inning like he has the rest of the game, but just in case.
You'd like to see him complete this game because then you give the bullpen a complete night off. Remember, Chamberlain Mo pitched last night in Kansas City. A complete night off. Then it's kind of a day game tomorrow. It's a kind of a late afternoon start, but we'll be back here before you know it.
Well, that's a rarity in today's game, obviously. You get a start and give you a complete game like that. It's such a plus for your bullpen.
And the 1-2 to Youkilis. Now, do you like the way the game has gone? Because we spoke about your 160-plus effort, complete game, 2-0, and 147 pitches you threw against Seattle in Game 5. You think your career would have been longer if they yanked you out after 90 pitches every game?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not a big believer in pitch counts. Certainly innings pitched, I'd monitor late in the year during the hot weather for young pitchers. But a lot of times, Michael, my pitches 75 through 120 were pitched with a lot less effort than the first 50 pitches.
And the 2-2. Line drive to right field. Coming on Abreu. He makes the play. One away. Youkilis hit the ball hard, but Abreu got a nice jump.
And the reason I say that, Michael, is that a lot of times it takes you a while to get the rough edges worn off, as we watch Chien-Ming Wang here. And Youkilis with a hard hit ball, just going at him. He's been efficient right there, well-played defense. We've seen the Yankees employ a lot of shifts this year, very progressive thinking with regard to their defensive alignment. But back to the point is, a lot of times it takes you a while. The first 50 pitches, you're not in the right rhythm. You got to get the rough edges worn off, so to speak.
In my scorecard, when there's a hard hit ball and the play is made, I put a mark next to it. Tonight, really, against Chien-Ming Wang, outside of the home run, there's really only been 2 balls that have been hit pretty hard. Maybe the ground ball that A-Rod was charged with an error. So at the max, I would say there were 3. So you were talking about pitching stress-free. I mean, this is stress-free pitching at its best.
There's a strike.
Absolutely, and that's where, there's the difference, obviously, the new school and the old school, and more of the control has gone to the so-called number crunchers and the people in the front office, and less control is taken away from the talent evaluators and the baseball people. And if you're a pitching coach watching Chien-Ming Wang, Kenny's exactly right. It's effortless. He's been so efficient.
High fly ball, left center field. Matsui makes the play for the second out of the inning.
So in other words, these pitches, these particular pitches he's throwing at this point in the game, regardless of what his pitch count is, are thrown with much less effort because his rhythm is there. He's in a groove. You see Matsui just camp under this.
I got it. And conversely, on the Yankees side, the Yankees have made some hard hit outs tonight. And they've hit the ball a lot better the last few days in Kansas City and today. Now I know, like Michael said, they haven't really jumped on it with runners in scoring position, but to me, that's coming.
Varitek swings at the first pitch and skies it to center field. How about this? 79 pitches over 8 innings, averaging less than 10 pitches per inning. He's pitching a one-hitter. And at the end of 7.5 innings of play, Wang has been outstanding. Yankees lead 3-1. At amazingly low prices. Who but WB Mason, the new AT&T Your World, delivered, and by Volkswagen. Das Auto, it's what the people want. We go to the 9th inning. It is 3-1. It's a tough decision for Joe Girardi because the way baseball's played now, you will go to the bullpen in the 9th inning. But if he's going with his gut and what his eyes see, he almost has to stay with Chien-Ming Wang, David.
Yeah, you really get it's not too many opportunities to get a complete game in today's environment. And so this is what we were talking about before. If you watch his mechanics and how smoothly he's throwing, these pitches are with much less effort. So it has to be an inning thing, a 9-inning thing. Chien-Ming Wang could go 9 innings. It can't be a pitch count thing. It can't be that he's laboring. You know, you can throw the pitch count out the window, even though it's low tonight. If he was at 100, I would let him go out. There's no magic number on pitch counts when he's throwing as well as he is.
Well, let's see if the Yankees could get a couple more runs, make the decision maybe a little bit easier where it's not a safe situation. Alberto Gonzalez leads off against Ardsma, and it's a strike. If Bobby Abreu, and this is a gigantic capital I, capital F, if he does not block himself with the right field wall, and if he makes that play, again, this is adhering to the fallacy, the predetermined outcome. Right now, that 9th inning is a no-hitter, and you're not taking him out then.
Absolutely not.
Although you left a no-hitter after 7 when you came back from your aneurysm.
I did, yeah, and that, you know, that was understandable. Going in, you knew you were on a set pitch count, coming off an injury and rehab start, so that, you know, obviously a very different situation. And that didn't make it any easier though, Michael, at that particular time.
There was a famed incident early in the San Diego Padre history when Preston Gomez was the manager, and he took out Clay Kirby. I mean, these guys were like 30 games out of first place, and he had a no-hitter going, and he took him out of the ball game, and the fans just went nuts. It's not like they were trying for first place. They're trying to save the game. He took him out, and eventually Preston Gomez got fired, and that was one of the reasons.
The 2-2. Driven to left field. Giving chases Ramirez. It's over his head. One hop up against the wall. Alberto Gonzalez chugs into second with a leadoff double here in the 9th inning.
I think Gonzalez has played 3 games now. He's got 3 hits in these games. He's laid down a sacrifice bunt. He's 1 for 2 tonight. So he is, what, 3 for 8 since he's come up from Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and he just laces this one.
He's shown he can hit a fastball, and as we said, Joe Girardi likes the way he handled the bat in spring training. And we see here, he's quick. He's quick to the ball with the fastball.
It's his second double since being called up.
And of course, if the Yankees can add on here and get something going, it'll make the Mariano Rivera issue pretty much moot.
Well, as we speak right now, and you see Melky Cabrera, what he's done today, Mariano Rivera is not warming in the bullpen. So the decision at this point is to let Chien-Ming Wang pitch the 9th inning. Rivera is not up. He pitched yesterday in a non-save situation. There's a bunt. That'll move the runner over beautifully. A sacrifice by Melky. You score that 5-4 as Gonzalez moves to third.
You know, Joe Girardi has put on the sacrifice bunt twice tonight, and once it was for Gonzalez, and now it's Cabrera, and both times the Yankees got the runners over, trying to build one more run. Now, the first time it worked because the next hitter was Cabrera after Gonzalez got it down in the 7th, and he delivered a sacrifice fly. Now it's up to Robinson Cano to use that situational hitting and get that runner in from third.
Well, Cano has really struggled. He's 0 for 4. Gone off to a bad start. 7 for 43. The Red Sox have the infield in, so that raises the chance for Cano to get a base hit. Ardsma deals, and the pitch low and inside, 1-0.
You know, and a lot of times, Kenny, you play for one run like that, and the floodgates suddenly start to open. It's ironic how that can work. You know, it's a big lift for your team when you can execute and play the game the right way, and everybody buys into it. And next thing you know, guys start situational hitting better, and you might end up scoring more than one run.
And it's chopped right to Youkilis. So Cano is now 0 for 5 and does not get the job done.
That was not really a pitch you could drive. You could see how he's reaching for it, just feeling for it, and slapped at the ball and hit it the other way. You're looking for something you can give a decent ride to the outfield and make sure that you got to square up on it. That was not a square up swing. Watch, it kind of slaps at it, and that's not the way you're going to drive a ball. So now that leaves it up to Abreu with 2 outs to really pick up Robinson Cano. See, that was kind of a weak hack.
Yankees 1 hit in 7 at-bats with runners in scoring position. And they are not getting it done in that situation the entire year. This is game 11, and they really have not gotten big clutch hits. The pitch to Abreu is upstairs, 1-0, which makes their 5-5 record all the more remarkable. They're just not getting hits. They're not scoring runs. And the 1-0. Outside 2-0.
Sometimes, you know, a two-out knock can get that thing turned around for you.
Yeah.
You try to play situational ball here. You do the right thing. You lay the bunt down. Cano doesn't get the job done. Bobby Abreu can really pick you up right here with a 2-out hit.
Class in session in the bullpen. Mariano doing some teaching. Bat goes up the middle, so does the ball. And he's safe. He beat it out. A run scores. That's a big hit for the Yankees as they lead 4-1. Pedroia got rid of it as quickly as he could, but Abreu gets the infield single and the RBI, and the Yankee lead is now 3.
And here's Bobby Abreu off the end of the bat. Good pitch, but up the middle and really busted out of the box. And this right here, beating this throw, takes all the pressure off of Cano. He feels a little better. Girardi, the manager, feels a little better about playing situational ball. We still got to run out of it. And Abreu can still get down the line.
He's tough to double up, and I'll tell you who really feels bad about this one. I believe it's the pitcher, Arjuna, because he had a chance to field the ball and didn't do it. And you can see his reaction. He should have had it, and it turned into a run, which, of course, is charged to his ERA.
And now he'll face Alex Rodriguez, who's 2 for 4 tonight. On the season, 13 for 39. Check that, 13 for 41. And that comes out to 317.
Yankees don't have a stolen base yet this year. That just blows my mind. They haven't been able to steal it back. But I don't think he's going. I think he's going to let A-Rod have a couple of swings here. Maybe when he gets down to 2 strikes, then he'll think about going.
They've been outstolen base 14-0 this season.
That just, for a team that stole, at one time in spring training, they had stolen 27 and 30 attempts. So the speed game has not come into it for the Yankees as of yet.
In the last 40 years, since 1969, the only other team to allow at least 14 stolen bases before stealing its first base of the year, the 2003 Blue Jays, they allowed 19 steals before stealing one of their own. But they're a money ball team. They don't try to steal bases. They don't believe in that.
They might not have stolen 19 all year themselves.
They might not have. They don't steal bases. They don't sacrifice bunt. Now they're doing it more this year.
Yeah, more now they are.
But when J.P. Ricciardi first got there, he instituted the money ball rules. And he learned that under Billy Beane with the A's. They don't like to give away outs on the bases. Count 1 and 2 on A-Rod.
Well, might have been on the inner third. A-Rod a little late. Now here's where Abreu, I think, might be thinking about going.
Just a little bit up, you know, the high fastball with some juice on it. Arjuna's got a good one. He's been in the mid-90s. We talked about situational ball and bunting, and the Yankees have done that earlier this year, where a couple of bunts in the Tampa Bay game got things going. And when you play situational ball, it just, when you do it right and you execute, it picks up the whole coaching staff, it picks up the whole bench. It sort of solidifies that chemistry on the team. And I can understand the number crunchers saying, well, we don't want to give away outs. And certainly, Kenny, you can speak to that with Oral Reaver and the 3-run home run. But it just makes you feel like you're together. We're playing team baseball. Gets those guys pumped up, the coaches right there. You know, it has a residual effect on down through. And then when you don't score, when Robinson Cano doesn't come through, and Bobby Abreu gets the hit and legs it out, you pick up your teammate, you pick up Cano, and that also has a residual effect on the chemistry of the team.
1-2. Just fouled that back.
But Coney, back in the day, Irwin let certain guys steal. You know, guys like Bunbury, he could go. You know, and Mark Belanger, he would let him go, but those are about the only 2 guys I can remember the whole team were able to steal when they wanted to. The rest of us were strictly station to station.
There he goes. That one's grounded to third. Youkilis. And that'll do it. Well, the Yankees get a big insurance run. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left. Wang will try to put a bow on this gem. He'll try to pitch a complete game.
And then went on into the bullpen. Drew gets his 3rd home run of the year, and Abreu gets to explain why he didn't catch the ball. That's our Geico play of the game.
Through 8 innings, Chien-Ming Wang has faced 1 man over the limit. That's the home run by Drew. 1 other Red Sox reached on an E5 and was quickly erased on a double play. He has been absolutely brilliant. Sean Casey leads off, takes a pitch low, 1-0. So this would still be a save situation, and Joe Girardi is going with his eyes and keeping Chien-Ming Wang out there. Mariano Rivera is up in the bullpen just in case. The 1-0. There's a strike. That was the 80th pitch of the night for Chien-Ming Wang.
Still got that effortless motion going, 91 miles an hour. The ball's down. First 2 sinkers are down. See what Molina goes with here. We got a 1-1 count. And back and forth, in and out all day. Might be a time to come in. Maybe stay with the sinker away. I'm calling in. Nope, there's the sinker away.
And the 1-1. Lined into center field. Melky Cabrera right there. 1 out. Well, tomorrow's game is on the Fox network, and right after the game, tune to Yes for the Nissan postgame. Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, and Kimberly Jones will recap tomorrow's pivotal matchup, including exclusive interviews and analysis. It's the Nissan postgame tomorrow after the Yankees-Red Sox game right here on Yes. There's Kim Jones, ready to pounce on the field, telling Joe Girardi what moves to make.
This is a little unusual game for Chien-Ming Wang. There's been 11 fly balls to outfielders tonight. Usually he's, you know, that ground ball is working for him, and then 2 other pop-ups to the infielder.
And there's a strike. This is the 27th man that Chien-Ming Wang has faced. 3 career complete games. Last one June 6th of last season at Chicago against the White Sox. Chien-Ming Wang looking to go 3-0. At this point last year, he had not picked up his first victory because he was on the DL at the start of the season. Had that hamstring problem. And he still won 19. In fact, he's won more games over the last 2 years than any starting pitcher in the game. 19 each season, 38 total. 1-1. There's a strike in the count, 1-2.
There's a slider too.
Yeah, he's mixed in just enough breaking stuff tonight, and just enough splitters to keep the hitters honest. And as I said before, I'm a big believer in protecting the integrity of your best pitch that you pitch off of. And by mixing in just enough of this, breaking balls and changeups, you know, he really has been effective.
And the 1-2. Foul back.
If he can get the victory in tonight's game, his record to start his career after, you know, 3+ years, 49-18. That's
31
not bad.
games over 500.
31 games over 500.
Crowd of 37,624 on hand here at Fenway. Significant, yes. It's a single game record for this ballpark. So they've added some seats, and that is a record watching Chien-Ming Wang's gem. The 1-2.
They've been quiet for most of the night, too. Chien-Ming Wang is just...
been so efficient, so effortless. You know, there's no wasted motion in his delivery. You know, we've seen that over the last couple of years. That people talk about that power sinker that he throws, or the turbo sinker. You just don't see it. He's got a little bit of Mariano Rivera in him in terms of the ball just jumps out of his hand, but he's so smooth with his delivery.
And the 2-2. Ground ball is short. Alberto Gonzalez. And Chien-Ming Wang is 1 hour away from a complete game.
Hey, look at it. He's only worked from the stretch 1 time tonight. That was after the error. Charge to A-Rod at third. Then quickly erased that play on a double play. Quickly erased the error. So he's been strictly from the windup.
Got to give some props to Jose Molina as well.
Oh, yeah.
As a backup catcher, what a weapon for the Yankees to have. He's an outstanding defender.
He is, and the way he sets up behind the plate, and the target he gives, and the way he frames pitches. So, you know, I would love to throw to him. See how he sets up nice and square, gives that target on the inside corner.
Coco Crisp bunts. Fielded by Wang. Throw to first. Not in time, so the Red Sox keep it alive. Crisp with a 2-out bunt single here in the 9th inning. Well, they've tried everything else, so the bunt's not a bad move.
Yeah, he's going to have to work from the stretch again. Maybe that was a reminder.
Yeah, you see Coco Crisp, great idea. Wang does all he can do right there. You know, he picks it up, bare hands it. Good delivery, finishes in a good fielding position. Gets to it quickly, bare hand, quick throw. Coco Crisp is just too fast.
Can you imagine if that was a no-hitter and he broke it up with the bunt? But it was a one-hitter. Now it's a two-hitter, and Mariano starting to throw in earnest. Here's Dustin Pedroia. He's 0 for 3. Reached on an E5 throwing error by Alex Rodriguez in the 4th. Runner goes, and he will steal second. And they don't give him a stolen base. They say it's defensive indifference. So the count 1-0 on Pedroia, and Molina trying, I don't know if he's settling down Wang, but certainly just slowing him down a bit.
Slowing him down, yes.
Give Mariano a few more tosses down. Remember, it's a save situation right now because the tying run is in the on-deck circle.
It was a save situation to start the inning, but once the first 2 outs were recorded, then you'd have to have the tying run on base or on the on-deck circle. And that's the case right now. The 1-0. There's a strike.
See his velocity, still 95 miles an hour. There's a four-seamer away, and he's not featured all sinkers. He's really bounced back and forth with sort of a four-seamer away and a turbo sinker in. And that's a variation in and of itself that we didn't really see a lot of last year. And certainly not this type of command he's shown tonight with both types of fastballs.
1-1. And the count 2-1. The only run off the glove, just off the edge of the glove of Bobby Abreu, a home run by J.D. Drew. The second hit, the bunt single by Coco Crisp with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. The Yankees lead 4-1. The first of 18 games this year between these two teams, at least in the regular season. The 2-1. Line to left field, and Matsui makes the play, and the Yankees win the game 4-1. A brilliant 2-hit complete game, 4-1 victory by Chien-Ming Wang. He threw 93 pitches. The home run, somewhat questionable because it went off the glove of Abreu, and the second base hit, a bunt base hit. And in this day and age, David, you don't see many better pitch games than that.
You really don't. We talked about pitch counts, and there's no magical pitch count. He threw probably better in the 9th inning than he did in the 1st inning, and that goes back to the point of you're in that kind of groove and you're that efficient. You can throw the pitch counts out the window, even though he was low enough and it didn't really matter.
Well, Andy Pettitte got the victory yesterday. Now Chien-Ming Wang gets it today, and Chien-Ming Wang is now 3-0 on the season, and he is getting legitimate congratulations from his teammates. How many times do you give the bullpen the night off in this major leagues? And that's exactly what happened for the Yankees. So now they're well rested with a game coming up tomorrow afternoon. Josh Beckett against Mike Messina, the second game of this 3-game set. Just a brilliant performance by Chien-Ming Wang, and Dave Island is telling him that as well. 3-0 for Chien-Ming Wang, and a big hit that broke a 1-1 tie came off the bat of Jason Giambi, and he joins our Kim Jones down in front of the Yankee dugout. Kim?
Thank you, Michael. Jason, I figure you drew it up this way. You needed a game-winning home run against the Red Sox to get going.
I hope so. You know, I've been hitting the ball good. The frustrating part is I felt so good at the plate and just haven't got those balls to fall yet. So it was nice to swing the bat and get rewarded a little bit, and now it's going to be a big home run.
Nice to watch that one the whole way?
Yeah, I was talking to it. The way my look's been going, I was going, it's going to stay in the park. Get out of here.
Tell us, from your view at first base, how happy are you that you hit her facing Chien-Ming Wang?
Wow, he was unbelievable. I mean, his stuff looked so electric tonight. It seemed like everything was running in on their hands, and they didn't look comfortable up there. He had great stuff tonight. It's
obviously so big to win this first game, but I want to know, how's your Taiwanese? What are you going to say to Wang?
I don't know much. We're teaching him how to speak English. So no, he did a great job, and he's funny, and he's always joking around in the dugout. So it was great to see him start off the season great this year for us.
It's nice to see you smiling, Jason.
About time, huh?
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks a lot, Kim, and he provided the big blow in the game. Yankees added 2 more of that. A lot of reason for the Yankees to dance. Chien-Ming Wang was outstanding. We'll break it down in detail, give out the awards, and then the postgame with Lorenz and Flaherty. Stick around.